This is a true crime discussions channel. We speculate. This is all just speculation. Because it's true crime, it's for mature audiences only. There will be no children allowed, no exceptions. Everything on this channel falls under fair use. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's free.
Hey y'all, happy Saturday. There's 85 comments I have not seen, so I'm going to say hey to who I can while I can, and if I miss you, just comment again and I'll shout you out. Hey Catwoman, Abellis, Eek, it's good to see you, Eek. Gothic, Lisa is me, Bad Girl, excuse me, Darlene, Miss Kiami, hey. Toxic Orchid, Indie Girl, good to see you. Occasionally classy. Serena. I think I saw Rubber Ramada. Yep, there you are. All Things Serious. Hio, hey, good to see you, love. There's me. 4 minutes, 3 minutes. Rubber was counting us down, wasn't she? All right. It's good to see you. Hey, Edith, there you are. Okay, so there's some things we need to talk about. First of all, I wanted to say thank you to Gothic, who sent me the pictures on the thumbnail of the Stefan and Steven, Jennifer's ex-husband. I did not have those pictures, and there's a reason for that. I didn't have those pictures because I don't go on Facebook much. I don't go on Reddit much. You can get information there, and sometimes it's a good source of information. I'm very cautious about that stuff. I try to just put out information that I get from FOIA requests. Okay. Because I don't want to accidentally put something out that could be false. Like, I'm okay with not being the first one to put something out. Because I just need to make sure that it's verified before I put it out. That's the whole basis for my channel. I get FOIA requests, I get the information, and I put the information that I have out. And then once I have that FOIA request information, we can talk about it and we can speculate and we can share our thoughts and opinions on the situation. I don't contact family members. I don't want to contact family members. They're dealing with enough, in my opinion. And if they contacted me and wanted to come up and talk, that's a different story. That I'm not going to seek them out and try to get them to come on my channel. That's just something I personally don't do. I personally don't agree with. And that's my thoughts on that. Real quick, Eek, you are so sweet. Thank you for being so supportive. I changed the background, but I haven't changed the video yet. So I will play our new members clips. Thank you so much, Eek. That was super sweet of you. You are so sweet. Thank you. Thank you so much, Eek. That was super sweet. Okay, so with me saying that, like, again, I'm okay. I don't agree with contacting family members and just getting information. Now, there's great sources out there where you can get information, and that's good. I would just always say, a lot of people say trust but verify. I would just say verify. I would say don't trust shit. We need to talk about this video right here. I put it out 2 months ago. Okay, this was before I was ever monetized, and I went with information that I found on the internet. Okay, I probably should not have done that. Okay, I could not verify. Well, the reason
child and directed at their family.
The reason I did put it out is because I did verify that this person was a registered sex offender, and that's why I put it out. Now, these are screenshots from Reddit, okay? And we'll get right back to that. Eek, my goodness, thank you. Goodness, honey. Thank you so much for gifting 20 memberships. Wow. Thank you. That is so sweet. Oh my goodness. Thank you for being so supportive. Wow. I'll play our clip again. Thank you so much, Eek. My goodness. Thank you, love. You're so sweet. Okay, so about this video, it's covered up right here. Again, I want to reiterate, hey, blue giraffes. I want to reiterate, these are screenshots from Reddit. I did not type this. These are screenshots. Somebody was talking about it at the time, so I looked on Reddit. I was able to grab some screenshots before it got deleted. And so I put them out really quickly. Abella's just gifted 10 memberships. If you guys were gifted from them, please tell them thank you. My goodness, y'all, thank you. I'm gonna play our clip one more time, and then I won't play it again for a while. I know Abella's loves this clip, so I'm gonna play it for her. Thank you. Goodness gracious, thank you. Goodness gracious, thank you. Thank you, guys. If you guys were gifted a membership, please tell them thank you. My goodness. Y'all are so sweet and being so supportive today. Goodness gracious. Thank you. Yeah, I've got to contact them about that. Y'all, and I didn't get time. I had so much going on last night. I don't even know. It's confusing me right now. So this video, I put it out 2 months ago. I haven't even looked at it since. It was before I was monetized. I found some information and I took screenshots and I put it out. At the top here, it's hard to say, but it says, this is who is modding at the main sub and Guilty of Crimes YouTube channel. Now, I didn't even know that was in here, and we're going to play through this screenshot. We'll play the whole video, but I want you to listen to how I start the video and how we talk about this, okay? Because there's going to be a reason for that. And after watching the first part of this, I remembered the reason. So let's listen real quick. Gothic, thank you so much for the super sticker. And we're going to get there in just a second. I know you got some things to say. I don't know a lot about the situation, and I don't know what to say about it. What I'm trying to get at, and I'm going to play the video, is that I probably shouldn't have put this video out. But at the time, I wasn't monetized, and I just ran with information I had. So we're going to listen to this real quick.
Madeline was being exploited even after her death. The man you see on your screen was a moderator for a subreddit on Reddit. And what that is it's a group where they talk about Madeline Soto, the things that happened. They talk about their feelings, share pictures, poems, and things to just remember Madeline Soto by. This man was the main moderator for that channel. He even fussed at other YouTube creators because he didn't like the things they wanted to put out about Madeline. He also moderated for a YouTube channel. His name is Benjamin Scott Thewils, and we just found out that he has been charged with possessing CSAM materials. His charges include possess or control obscene material depicting minor and sexual conduct, attempt to distribute harmful matter depicting a minor sent to a minor via the internet or email. He is a registered sex offender. This is another picture of him.
Okay, so I took a screenshot. I didn't say that he moderated for Guilty of Crime. Like, I didn't say it in the video because I could not verify that at the time. what I could verify was that he moderated for the subreddit, and I said he moderated for a YouTube channel, and I should not have said that because I didn't know at the time and I couldn't verify it. What I could verify is that he was on the subreddit and he did moderate for that subreddit. Lisa is me. Thank you so much for gifting a membership. If you were gifted a membership from Lisa is me, please tell her thank you. That was super sweet. Bad Girl says, sending you hugs, Toxic. Yeah, I'm sorry, Toxic. I'm sorry. I'm gonna work on that. So again, that was a screenshot. I could not verify at the time, and still really can't verify who he moderated for, except for the subreddit. Now, again, I shouldn't have put that out. I went on information I couldn't verify, and that's my fault. Guilty. I honestly thought it was, when I heard about it, I thought I had said true crime buzz. I didn't realize that it was guilty of crime, and Jay, who came up on my panel, and all of that. I didn't even know about this whole situation until I think 2 or 3 days later. I really like Jay. I base what I know of Jay on what I know, and what I know of her and her channel has been what I've learned in the past week. I don't care about the other stuff because that's not who I know her as. I don't want to get involved in that because I'm not about the drama. I'm about the facts and the FOIA and all the information. I got sent some information by a moderator, and I honestly haven't even read it because it's not important to me, right? Like, I'm basing what I know of Jay, what I know of the Reddit community, all of that on what I know. And what I know about this situation is that he's a predator, and I'll play the video and I can show you proof that he's a predator. I don't know who he modded for. I don't know who he was in contact for. I don't want to get involved in that because that's not what's important here. Is that he exploited Maddie, and that's about it. And getting justice for Maddie. Okay, that's what we need to be focused on. I really wish I hadn't even put this video out because this really isn't important. I don't want to give this person any more attention than they already have. And I base what I know of guilty of crime and Jay on what I know from the past week. So I don't really want to bring it up. I don't want to talk about drama. I mean, if it's something that has to be addressed, we can do that. But I would rather not because, again, my channel, I just focus on FOIA stuff. I don't follow the Facebook groups. I didn't have the pictures that are in my thumbnail until Gothic sent them to me. And that was super sweet of her. And I appreciate that. But again, like I don't go in the Facebook because you get handed information about, like, stuff, and you want to run with it because you want to be the first one to put it out, and you're so invested in the case and you just want to get justice for Maddie, and you put it out, and then it could be not true or it could be true. And so I just stay away from all that because I don't want that to happen. I just stay with the news sources and what I can verify through FOIAs. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. And we can watch the video, but that's the only time guilty of crime is mentioned. And again, that wasn't me. I didn't even realize it was in there until I just looked at it in the past day. And I didn't say her name because I couldn't verify it. And no, it shouldn't be there. I just screenshotted it. And at the time, I didn't know the situation or what I was getting into or anything. Like I said, if I could go back now, I wouldn't have even put the video out. But we can watch it and see about this person. But again, I don't want to give him any credit or validation because he's a sick person, and he's involved in the case now. That being said, I do want to say something else. I can tell you with almost certainty that nobody in the subreddit, nobody on YouTube, if they did get involved, nobody on YouTube, nobody in the subreddit would have knowingly got involved with somebody who does things like that. You can't vet, and I mean, while we're creators and we run YouTube channels about true crime and we submit FOIAs and all that, we're not doing background checks on everybody we know. And if this person seemed to have credible information at the time, I could see how it could happen. Now, I'm not saying that it did happen, but anybody could make that mistake. I could make that mistake. If this person comes to me and is like, hey, I have this information, here you go. Here's this, and 4 and 5 other things. And you're talking to the family and you're giving me numbers and ways to contact them. And I can talk to them personally and they're calling me and all this stuff. Yeah, I'm going to believe them. And I might make them a moderator for my channel. I would, not knowing that they're also doing this other stuff on the side. Nobody would know that. Like, you don't know what people are doing in their homes when they're not on the internet. And a mistake could be made. And it could happen to anybody. Like I said, it could happen to me, it could happen to you, it could happen to him, it could happen to them, it could happen to anybody. And if something like that happens, you just have to come out and say, hey, I didn't know, now I do. I apologize. I just, didn't know. And I'm not saying that that's what happened. I'm just giving an example of how it could happen to anybody. So we'll play this video and then we'll go we'll go on to going through the interviews with the exes. This is just about him and what he did. So I'm going to play this and that's going to be the last time I talk about it.
Yeah. Here again are his charges: possess or control obscene material depicting a minor in sexual conduct, and attempted distribute of harmful matter depicting a minor. And he was trying to send that material to another minor via the internet or email.
Now, it's going to show a situation, and when I saw this part, I was like, yeah, that's why I put it out. So we're going to talk about why I put it out to begin with. It had to do with the CSAM, and then there's something he did that really pissed me off, and that was the other reason I put it out. So we'll talk about that in just a second.
And these since been deleted Reddit comments, Ghost, which was his handle,
So this is the other reason I put this out, because this made me want to throw my phone. So here we go.
Sharing a poem he wrote from the perspective of Maddie. He writes, I will be working on more. I have a, quote, letter to Tyler and Tatiana in the point of view of Maddie in heaven, and debating posting it as well. My fear is people can't play nice on here. I guess if they don't, they can go somewhere else. He seems to understand that it won't be received well, but probes anyway. Another Redditor writes, I think it would be an overstep to write from the first-person perspective of a deceased child and direct it at their family members. Ghost says, true, I scrapped the idea. Another Redditor comments, thank God. It is only when another Redditor steps in that he decides not to share. Here.
Okay, so he wrote a letter basically from Maddie, from the perspective of Madeline in heaven, to her father, Tyler, and her stepmother, Tatiana. That is what the other reason I made this post. Like, to find out that a registered sex offender was running a subreddit on Reddit, it sucks, okay? But it doesn't surprise me, unfortunately, because these type of people try to get in anywhere and everywhere they can, because for whatever sick reason they get off on it. Okay, that is it sucks. And I'm glad that people called the police and turned him in. Okay, but what really pissed me off is that he's got the nerve to think that he could write a letter to the family of Madeline from her perspective. I was like, oh hell no. And that was the reason I put this out, because like I said, while it sucks that he's a registered sex offender and was involved in the Reddit, it could happen in any case, anywhere, at any time. That shit pissed me off. I apologize for my language, but it really pissed me off that he thought he could do something like that. And we'll continue the video.
We see a screenshot of his Flickr account. This is a list of all the groups he is a member of on Flickr. This group is particularly concerning. Notice the profile picture, and the name of it is Princess. Notice that the group poll is for members only, and this group discussion is for members only. If we
Okay, so this guy was running a subreddit. A subreddit is like in Discord, you have channels and you can talk about things. He was running a subreddit that was to do with Madeline Soto. Basically, you could share your thoughts and opinions and feelings about Madeline on this subreddit. You could talk about how you loved her and how you cared about her and all these things, which I think is just sick. You can't, I mean, you know, we can all want justice for Maddie, and that's what it should be about. To sit here and say that you love her and you've never met her, you can't, you, it it's just a messed up situation in my point of view. I care about getting justice for Maddie. It makes me upset the things that this child had to go through, and it breaks my heart. Okay, but I've never met Maddie in my whole entire life. While I can want justice for her, you can't. I'm not going to sit out here and be like, oh, I love Maddie and I wish I could get, you know, justice for her or whatever. I don't agree with that. But that's what the subreddit was about. Writing poems to Maddie. You know, I don't agree with it, but that's what it was. And it's just basically a discussion thread.
you remember the kind of material he got in trouble for possessing, it makes this particularly concerning. These are some of Benjamin Scott Thewell's works of art that he had on Flickr. He made artwork of Maddie in this style and posted it to the R. Madeline Soto subreddit. This subreddit in particular had over 11,000 members. That's why it's so concerning. I have tried my best to zoom in on some of these pictures, and I will tell you what I see. If you see something else, please leave it in the comment section down below. This first picture looks like Maddie, the one on the left. The one on the right looks like Maddie with her cat. This one looks like a man holding a knife in a stabbing position and a little girl crouched on something kind of in the corner. This one on the left is of the girl in the corner, but with a color added.
Somebody said that that wasn't a knife, it was a dog leash when on this video, because I was like, okay, I mean, I was just saying what I saw, but just to let you know.
To it. And this one on the right, I have no idea. It appears to depict a young child possibly singing and dancing. In this one, we see a mother holding the hands of what is presumed to be her child, possibly healing a boo-boo or something like that. In the one on the right, there is a child on a bike, but this child's head is not present. In this picture, the one on the left appears to be a box of Sour Patch Kids, a movie ticket, and a pair of sunglasses. The movie appears to be rated R. On the right, we see a young blonde-headed child eating a bucket of what appears to be a snow cone or slushy type thing. Here, we see a young boy riding a Tyrannosaurus Rex with his hand in the air, appearing to be having fun. In this photo, there's a young girl starting from the left top that has Joker face paint on, and she's blonde. Beside that, there's a little blonde-haired girl with a hand in front of her face that appears to be black and kind of scary. She appears to have paint on her shirt. Beside that, there is a young boy, and then behind him, there is a girl or a woman with a superhero-type face mask. Beside that, all the way on the right at the top, we have some kind of snow cone slushy thing. Going to the bottom and starting on the left, we have what appears to be a Men at Work sign with something written over it. The picture beside that appears to be inside of a church, but I cannot tell what it is. The one in the middle on the bottom appears to be a woman taking a boy by the hand and leading him away. The two on the end right at the bottom appear to be two blonde-headed young ladies or women singing or doing something to that effect. In this one, starting at the top left, we appear to have a man walking without a shirt on. Beside that, there is a boy with his hands behind his back with something on his head, possibly a bird. In the middle on the top, there's a Spider-Man face. Beside that, there is a young boy with a particularly worried look on his face. At the very end, I am confused. This could be a man with a mustache drinking a slushie holding a cat, or a child holding a cat with an open mouth screaming. Starting on the bottom right, we have a child whose face is painted like a tiger. Beside that, there's a blonde-headed girl that kind of looks like Madeline Soto. Beside that, there is a young girl with face paint on. Beside that is a picture of H Ghost, the predator we are talking about. And on the very end, all the way at the right, that appears to be a young boy or a young man. It is hard to tell his age. He is wearing a beanie. His eyes are concerningly dark. In this set of pictures, starting all the way at the top on the left, we have a young man wearing a bow tie. Beside that is a young.
All right, we can see that these pictures are creepy AF, right? Like, we don't have to go through all that. I'll show you pictures of him. It says these are selfies from H Ghost Reddit account before he deleted it. His account was very active and its activity spanned over 11 years at the time of his deletion. And then we're going to see some close-ups of that. I'm going to speed it up a little bit just so you can see what this person looks like. Because again, this is going to be the end of this. I'm not going to speak on it. I don't know. I don't know enough information about the drama surrounding this other than what I put out. And I don't know enough to speak on it. Okay. And again, from what I know from creators is what I know, like what I've found out over the past week. I don't care about things that happened in the past. If they did happen, I like the creator because I like their content. Okay. Like that. That's how I feel about the situation.
If you haven't seen that, I have a video on it if you would like to check that out. Here we have where I cut the pictures out and kind of blew them up so we could get a better look at this monster. Here on the left, we see him with green hair and then with white hair. On the left, we see him in sunglasses, and on the right, we see him in reading glasses with headphones on. Here on the left, we see him with red or pink hair in the dark, and on the right, we see him with the white long hair with headphones on. Here, we see him appearing to be smiling on the top, and then on the bottom, another smiling selfie. And this is the last one of him up close and personal with sunglasses on. He is from California. The Redditor that was able to grab this information even after he deleted it was named BabyGhoul666. She writes, H Ghost is a pedophile. As many of you are already aware, yesterday we uncovered the true identity of the very problematic head mod over at the R. Madeline Soto. His name is Benjamin Thewells, and he is a registered sex offender from California with a CSAM conviction. There is still a lot going on behind the scenes, and we are still digging into things, but I want to assure you that he has been reported to multiple different law enforcement agencies and all the necessary tip lines concerning this issue. I am doing what I can to protect our community here from H Ghost and other bad actors, so there's going to be a few changes to keep us safe here. I will update you all with any sub changes as they happen. She writes, if you are a minor in any of the Maddie Soto communities, including Facebook, he infiltrated those groups as well, that has been in contact with H Ghost, please immediately cut off contact with him. Please know that you did nothing wrong. Feel free to reach out to me with any details you think could be important to share, and I can guide you through making a report against him if that's needed. He is not allowed to be contacting minors as a registered sex offender. I highly recommend y'all head over to the Reddit Madeline Soto Truth as well. There are users and mods from that subreddit and Reddit Jen Soto that have been active in investigating this. Truly amazing people I've been working on this with. The Reddit Madeline Soto is still locked, and they are still ignoring the
Hey, Darla, thank you for being here.
pedo elephant in the room. The Reddit Jen Soto is guilty AF is run by the same mods as is the copycat R. Madeline Soto evidence, H Ghost, and those protecting H Ghost. I recommend you proceed with caution if you will be participating in these subs until things change. I am heartbroken that Madeline was allowed to be exploited even after her death. I am angry for a variety of reasons concerning this issue. I will share any updates we get with you all here, and please use this post to discuss H Ghost and the situation. Reach out if you have any concerns, and remember to listen to your guts when it tells you something is off about a person. Keep digging until you find out the truth. And don't forget the reason we are all here as this continues to unfold. Justice for Maddie. Let's not let all the drama that's been happening with mods, YouTubers, and etc. overshadow the girl we're fighting for while we expose this POS. She was re-victimized by the situation. Let's do all that we can to prevent this from happening again. And someone replied, if he's not to be using the internet as a result of his charges, hopefully law enforcement accesses all of his posts, mod chats, and private chats across multiple platforms. Deleted or not, he can't hide anything. The fact that Madeline was still victimized even after death is particularly heartbreaking. I hope that this baby girl can finally rest in peace.
And so that's it on that. That's what I said at the time. Like I said, it was 2 months ago, Lord. I mean, the only reason I made a video of it, because again, it could happen to anybody. Like you could, especially on Reddit, like it doesn't surprise me at all that unfortunately a Reddit infiltrated that. What pissed me off was that he was trying to write a poem or whatever, a letter from Maddie's perspective in heaven. Like that really, I was just like blown away by that. I don't know enough about the situation to dig into it. I know what I've seen, but again, it's just it's not important to me because it could happen to anybody. Anything that did happen, it's over with now. So to continue talking about it is just, I mean, irrelevant, I think, personally. And I'm here to talk about the FOIA stuff that I've got and the information that I can verify. I don't do drama. I've done a few videos, but I again just shy away from that because I don't want. Hold on. I don't want to be about drama. I do appreciate the stuff that Jay has sent me and her mod Gothic has sent me, like information about the pictures and stuff like that. I did get information about a Facebook where I can get like videos of Maddie and pictures of Maddie. Like those things I will share, but other things I can't verify, I'm not gonna share. But yeah, that's how I feel about that. I don't want to talk about drama and things like that. And again, just to reiterate, he tried to contact a lot of people. He seemed to have insider information. So anything that happened, I could definitely understand how it happened. I don't think anything happened. Like I said, I don't know enough about the situation, but I'm basing my like for Guilty of Crime and Jay and all of her people on the fact that, I met her the other day on my platform and I like her content. And that's all I need to know. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not worried about all that other stuff or the drama. So we are going to get back into the interview of Stephen Young with Jennifer Soto. Not with Jennifer Soto, Jennifer Soto's ex-husband. And thank you to Gothic for sending me the pictures of Stephen and Stefan at the axe throwing thing that they did for his birthday. That is on the thumbnail of this video. I really appreciate it. Hey, Grandma Stacy and MI Passenger. Thank you for being here. And Courtney, thank you for being here. So we're going to listen to this and then we'll get into the interview with Tyler.
So it sounds like you and Jen have communicated frequently since you guys split up because of Maddie.
Pretty often, yeah. I always try and check up on Maddie all the time. Our friendship kind of fizzled out a little bit. We kind of talked a little less here and there as my relationship with my current wife grew. Right. And not because of my wife. Like they're actually great friends. It was actually my mother-in-law that thought it was weird and started getting mad and stuff. So we started scaling back our friendship for the optics of her family. But
gotcha.
But I would still always check up on Maddie. I talked to her.
Hey, hey, Catwoman. Thank you for being here. Lisa is me gifted 5 memberships. Thank you. And then Eat gifted 20 more. My goodness. Thank you guys for being so supportive. I really appreciate that. You guys are so sweet. Thank you. I will play our clip. Wow, that is a lot. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so very much. You guys are so supportive. That was super sweet. Oh my goodness, Abellis. Abellis also gifted 10 memberships. Wow, you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. If you guys were gifted a membership from them, please tell them thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I like that clip too. Thank you guys. And real quick, before I leave the situation and be done with it, for anything that anybody on Reddit or YouTube or anything like that is having to go through just because of that sick predator, I'm sorry that you're having to go through that. And I hope that everything goes okay. So, or, it all blows over and everything stops soon because it really does suck. And I'm truly sorry for anything you're going through or anybody else is going through in regards to that. I hope everything works itself out soon. Hey, Scent. I was reading what you said. Well, I came in at the end of that H Ghost recollection shenanigans. Poor Bree. It does leave you alone. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I don't know a lot about it, but I'm sorry for anybody having to deal with any kind of shit because of him. That's just, I mean, he needs to be put under the jail.
All the time, whenever Ash was on the phone with her, like I'd pop over the FaceTime and check on her, you know, like, hey, how's it going, you know, and how's school?
How was Jen, when you would talk to Jen on FaceTime or Maddie or anything like that, what was like their demeanor? Was there any point during, since you left till up here recently, any kind of demeanor changes between Jennifer or Maddie? Or
Maddie seemed off for a few years, honestly. And
Maddie seemed off for a few years, honestly. So he picked up on it. How did Jennifer not pick up on it? If he is not even in the house and just talking to her occasionally, or when his daughter talks to her, and he picked up that she was off, you mean to tell me her own mother didn't? I know that she's checked out a lot, but there's no way you were that oblivious. Hey, brother Umar J, thank you for being here. This is Madeline Soto, and we are discussing the Madeline Soto case. I appreciate you dropping in. And Miss King of Anything, thank you for being here. No, I haven't played Maddie's father's tape yet. We're still in Jennifer's, in the interview with Jennifer's ex-husband. So, there's not a chance of gifting is on at this point. I don't know. MI Passenger, thank you for being here. I don't know what I'm confused. I'm sorry. Kalisa, thank you for being here. Kalisa says thank you to whoever gifted her membership.
I thought it was just, she's going through changes. It's the teenage years coming. It's the puberty, you know. I remember my daughter going through depressive stage, you know, right at the end of, you know, elementary school. But, you know, that was right at the start of COVID and stuff. So I wasn't sure, like, how much is, like, an equal comparison for a mood change. And to me, like, it seemed normal to, like, my daughter was going through. She went through a massive depression through, you know, middle school, COVID, lots of things going on. So in my head, it was just like, okay, she's going through changes. Keep talking to her. Keep getting the two of them to hang out as much as they can online. We'll get down there.
So he thought that it was just changes, but keep in mind, he wasn't in the house, okay? The mother was. And you mean to tell me she didn't pick up on anything? I think so. I will drop them in the description box of this video. And thank you for doing that for me, Gothic. I really appreciate that. Hey, Celeste, you're fine putting all caps on. Thank you for being here, Celeste. I appreciate it. I will definitely put those links in the video or in the description box.
Our floors see each other soon. Let's see if we can fly them up. You know, just trying to get more of the family aspect together. And I thought it was teenage years.
Gotcha. How long? You said that was going on for a few years, you think?
Yeah. She's kind of felt like different to talk to since like late elementary school. I don't know. Just she seemed different.
Did Jen seem different at all?
Jen doesn't seem different. She's just seemed like she's just always trying to figure out what she needs to do with her psychologist to get by. And it feels like her like trying to figure that out with a psychologist is always like an experiment. And I feel like she's trying to figure out what to do to get herself here and to be functioning with her mental health issues. But with all the back and forth with doctors, at least in my opinion, it's just always a game of, okay, try this. And so sometimes she gets a little more checked out as they're trying different meds. And I don't feel like...
Did she ever talk to you about her doctors? Or
no, Jen is just worried about meds all the time. Hey, Miss Bambi Lee. In the description box of this video, I dropped the 2 links that Gothic gave me yesterday, and I also dropped the Discord link. And we're doing some changes to Discord as well, so just want to let y'all know about that. Tessa in the hood. Oh, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. That's what I called you. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds said, thank you so much for the membership. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. I love it. Hey, Anders. That's the Beatles song, and it stands for some stuff. I like it. Gammy said, I took my meds. Yes. If you are on mental health medication, please make sure you take your meds every day. We definitely support mental health over here.
Kind of different medication.
I know she's been on different medication over the years. I don't know exactly which ones. I know she's tried different things. She's complained about some that have like knocked her out and, you know, make her like super tired.
When did she tell you that?
That she has meds like that?
Lisa is me said there's creators that love views, even if it's to follow the drama. And yes, I'm glad you said that, because that's the whole thing for me. While I could probably get views and lots of money for doing drama, it's not about that for me. It's about, you know, remembering victims and information that I can get and verify and putting that out for you guys, and trying to give you that information and videos that you can use. You know, as long as you say where you got it. But like, you know, like putting out all the interviews like I did to start with no commentary, no nothing. It's just the interview, just the audio, whatever. That's what I'm about. I'm not going to do drama. Like it doesn't matter to me about the money and the views and things like that. Don't get me wrong. I love for you guys to watch my stuff, but I'm not worried about it to the extent of I'm going to cover drama and start doing a bunch of drama, and I don't want to, and I'm not going to do drama. That's why I don't want to go down that road. I just want to say that if you are involved in that situation, or if you are a sub to somebody that's involved in that situation, just please remember that it could happen to anybody. Nobody has time to run background checks on every single person they come into contact with. So just put yourself in somebody else's shoes before we condemn somebody would be my advice.
Geez, I've known her for a long time. She's like got through a lot of back and forth, you know, with meds. I know I can't pinpoint a specific time period on which one.
Your relationship with her?
No, the mental health stuff started to accumulate more during my relationship with her, and that's when I was trying to get her into more therapy and stuff.
Hey, Gina Marie. Gina Marie says no fake news.
The understanding where she was with her mental health took some time with psychologists and therapists to figure out, okay, these are her conditions.
Heo, you need to get under that blanket. You need to get under that big blanket with some coffee. I'm about to go fill mine up.
How we can start figuring out certain meds that may work in some capacity, but that was after I had been there that meds started to get figured out by doctors. It was more therapy when I was still in the house, if that makes sense.
Did she ever talk about Jen now? Did she ever talk to you about more recently that any medication has changed or anything like that would like offset her? Or, you know, some people when they change their medication,
I know
everything just changes.
The only thing I know that she said about her medication recently is there's a nighttime one that just knocks her out. So she takes that one at night.
When did she tell you that?
Must be when I've been recently talking to her about this the past few weeks. Like this, or it's happened all week ago. So we saw it online on Monday. Yeah.
So she never mentioned that prior to.
Well, I haven't talked about her meds in a while.
Okay.
This is just recently because I was like, all right, so what's going on? Like, where's your head been? Like, like how much do you remember right now? Like with your meds. And
what did she tell you happened? Right from like the day that Maddie went missing. When did you first hear about it?
Okay, I had to step out and get my coffee. But I'm back.
My wife saw online. I'm not on social media, but she saw it immediately. And so I start calling, and anybody I know in Florida, I just say, please send it. Anybody. And then I was like, all right, everybody outside of Florida, if you know somebody in Florida, send it. And I was just on blow up, just anybody I can contact to share the information online she was missing.
When the first time you talked to Jen, what did she say?
I talked to Jen. It was either that I think it was the next day. I think it was Tuesday. I was finally able to get a hold of her. And I was trying to talk to her. I was trying to figure what happened. And she had told me, sorry, I'm trying to remember.
That's okay.
You know, I to me, it seems like I would be able to recall every second where I was, what I did, you know, when I found out some information like that. But again, you got to take into account the shock of the situation, and all of that. I mean, anything could hinder you remembering accurately.
She had told me that Maddie was missing and that Stefan had taken her to the school, but he had made a bunch of stupid mistakes and he accidentally deleted his phone and what the other thing he said, and he forgot his phone and Maddie forgot his phone, which didn't surprise me. My daughter forgets her phone all the time, but like him not having his phone, I felt was shocking because I remember him I always saw him with his phone. He was always on Reddit. He was always typing away at something. But Maddie, like, that didn't surprise me. Like a teenager forgetting their phone. And so, like, I call them idiots, you know, like, wait, why the fuck would you do that? Like, not even look more guilty. Like, I thought he was innocent. Like, I thought it was somebody that was protecting Maddie. Mm-hmm. You know, I thought that they were both, you know, looking out for her. And now I just don't know what to think anymore.
Yeah, I would have thought that they were both looking out for Maddie too. And it's hard to believe that they weren't. You know what I mean? And that she was a victim of all of this.
You know, but
now was this talking to Jen over the phone or text message, or
I think this was a phone call I had with them. I think I called. I finally like gotten a hold of her because I wanted to hear her voice, to hear what she sounded like when she said these things. You know.
Now, when you were talking to her over the phone, like you said, you're hearing her voice saying these things. Mm-hmm. What she was saying, was that kind of like her normal tone, or a different tone, or like, how would you describe it?
It sounded like anxious Jen. Like it sounded like something's wrong, and she couldn't wrap her head around it. Like sometimes she has to take her meds, but you can still like tell in her tone sometimes like how she is, and like I could tell she was a little muted, probably from meds she had to take, but I could tell like her anxiety was at 100. Yeah, if you know, like.
Okay, y'all. I'm here. I'm trying to figure out my internet situation. It's showing me like one bar, so y'all let me know if I'm cutting in and out. Anna, thank you for being here. It's really sad to know, you know, that this man. I mean, I couldn't imagine being in his shoes and finding out that this had been going on for so long. And that her mother and the stepfather didn't have her best interest at heart, you know?
Even with some mutes, like once you know a person, you can kind of tell like some of their tells a little bit, like just like their pace and their talking. It's like, I don't know, you're still like amped up. And like I could tell she was like that. He was very quiet. Very quiet.
So you talked to him as well?
I was on speaker in the car.
Okay.
And he was there at the time. And so, like, I asked him, like, I asked him, but he really didn't say anything. She kept just like,
what did he say?
He was like, yeah, she was.
So I'm hearing that it was, from what I'm picking up from this, it was unusual for him to be that quiet. And I find it weird. Like, did Jen pick up on that? He did. And he's not even in the situation on a daily basis. So Jen had to pick up on that. Since that I thought I heard Jay say a bird, it probably was that dumb dog feeder. It was on meds too. Yeah. Hey, Mommy Ball, you talking about with the news station? Mommy Ball said M's nighttime med was hydroxyzine, which is the mighty OG Benadryl. Gives horrible, exhausting morning hangovers. No wonder her head was on her desk. Yeah, and then you take into consideration what Stefan was doing to her while she was sleeping. I can play the end of that video for you, but it is traumatizing if you've never heard it. It's the where I'm reading the indictment on my page. It's bad. It's real bad. Catwoman said, I wanted to ask about Discord. Somebody invited me, but I don't. How is functioning games or what? Yeah, Discord is weird. I had to get some help with it myself.
She was there, and I feel so guilty, and I can't believe that I left my phone. I was like, well, how the fuck would you do that? Like, it's stupid. Like, have your phone, like, wherever you go. Like, it's suspicious immediately. Like, like, you don't have your phone as an adult. Like, And he was like, yeah. And then I actually reset it. What the fuck, dude? And and that's really all he mentioned. And then Jen like reset the same thing and told me that he had dropped her off, and she thought that she had woken up at like 8:20 in the morning, and then Sailor was barking to go to the bathroom or needed to go to the bathroom, so she started to get up. But he said, no, I got it. And he was like, yeah, I was trying to let you rest. And then he went and took the dog out, and then came back and said that, oh, don't worry, I'm taking Maddie to school, and then let her keep resting because she was like going through training at a new job.
So, and again, I'm listening. It's showing me that my internet, oh my God, it's showing me that my internet is down, but I'm assuming it's StreamYard because my laptop says I have a strong connection. If I cut out, just let me know, y'all, and thank you.
Was really tired.
Hey, Jenny. Jen.
And that she had called him up to come help with taking her to school and helping to get the dog and Maddie's situation so she could balance the new job she just started. Sorry, I'm trying to remember all the pieces she told me and all that conversation, so it's coming out in random order. What else did she say?
But she told you that she was sleeping, and whatever time it was when she heard the dog barking, she was going to get up to take the dog out, and then, but Stefan took the dog out himself.
Yeah, Stefan took the dog out himself and told her.
And that was unusual. Batgirl said everyone is so accommodating for Jen's sleep. Yeah, at the expense of Maddie, in my opinion. At the expense of being up and being around for your daughter, being there, being present, doing what she needs. Because when you have a child, it becomes about them. You have to put them first. No matter if it hurts your feelings, hurts you, you don't get enough sleep, you don't get enough you time, it doesn't matter. That child depends on you for everything in their whole entire life, and you've got to do what's best for them. Yes, thank you, Zaya.
I just told her, no, it's okay, you're tired, don't worry about it. And so
Hio said, as the gavel drops, Discord with a ton of links to documents and case files, and I'm going to grab that link and drop it in the description box as well. If you guys are looking for documents, I mean, you could start your own YouTube channel with the documents that are in there. So definitely sub up to them and join them on their Discord. Hey, Mary. Mary said, I was wondering what the dog had to do with it. He took it to let her. Maddie was already deceased. I think personally it was to grab the Crocs, because we know that there was one Croc left in Jen's room. I think he went in there to grab Madeline's Crocs because for whatever reason they were in Jen's room. He was able to grab one without Jen waking up, and then he grabbed the other one. Or he wasn't able to grab the other one. So when she woke up, he pretended like he was about to walk the dog because he was trying to grab the other Croc. But that's assuming that Jen didn't know that Maddie was deceased and was not a part of that part of the situation. And I don't know if that's true yet or either. That's the only thing I could come up with when I think about that situation as far as it pertains to the dog. Gothic said, well, the day everyone thought she went missing, but she was sadly no longer with us. Right. Hey, Indie Girl, if I didn't say hey to you. So Sense said he used that dog leash to tie Maddie upright in the car, the sick F. Yeah, but I didn't know that for a fact because I know the car was used as the poodle ambulance. So I don't know, like I could never figure out if those leashes were there already or if he put them there. It's possible that he used the leash to tie Maddie up in the car, and it's possible that they were already there and he used ones that were already in the car to tie her up. I would like to know what color the leash was, or like a picture of Jen walking the dog to see if we could verify that it's the same leash. You know what I mean?
Asleep.
Okay. Did she ever mention going the day prior? Mm-hmm. Maddie had a birthday party.
Yeah.
With grandma.
Yeah.
Okay. Did Jen tell you why she wasn't there?
I understand it from her that she was just so tired from everything from work.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll admit, going to her family functions can be a little bit overload. She has a lot of family.
Gotcha. Okay.
They're very loving. They're very loving people. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love her family to death. Like, her mom, Yolanda, and her dad, Juan, helped me and my daughter, Ash, so much over the years, even after me and Jen split. So, like, love them to death. But sometimes they're overload. And with all her anxiety, sometimes she just can't handle them for a long period of time. So she'll go and do stuff with Maddie, you know, for her birthday. It's happened sometimes. She's gone and done her own thing on Saturday.
He said, shoot, you know, Jen never walked that dog. It was Maddie or no one. And we do know that because the neighbors said that Maddie was the one usually walking the dog. I dropped as the Gabble Drops Discord. Link is in the description box of this video. So if you guys are interested in that, she says we cover almost 500 cases and we provide documents, provide court dates, media, court streams, etc. Your one-stop shop for all your trial watching needs. And that it definitely is. Miss Kimmy says, in different videos, I thought Jen's leash was red and the one in the car was purple. Yep. And black. There was a black one in the back of the car. So that's what I mean. I don't know if the leashes were in the car or not. I do know that he used the leash to tie Maddie up, and the one in the passenger seat was black, I believe. The purple one was in the back. So yeah, as the Gabble Drops Discord is in the description box of this video, definitely give them a follow.
Saturday, and her mom wants to do a big event on a Sunday. It's just overload for her.
Got it. Okay.
Like, she'll still do stuff with Maddie. It's just sometimes she can't handle the full people, and that would be my guess. I haven't asked her specifically, like, the whole weekend sour, like, ask her about why she didn't go, you know. Maybe I could have asked her. I should have asked her, but
was Stefan at the party?
I doubt it.
Okay.
Yolanda did not like Stefan.
Yolanda is Jen's mom.
Jen's mom.
Okay.
Jen's mom didn't like Stefan. I wonder why. I wonder if she smelled the BS, like Inspector BS. Where is he at? I gave him time off, but now he needs to come back to work. Let's get that Inspector BS if I can find him over here. Hold on just a minute. There you are, Inspector. All right, we got our Inspector BS up. Kalisa said, I went from feeling sympathy for Jen, feeling she was mentally off and didn't realize, to thinking she was selfish and didn't pay attention to Maddie, to realizing she could be completely complicit. And that's where we all are with this, I do believe. I felt the same thing. I felt sorry for her, like maybe she didn't realize, to thinking, well, maybe she was over-medicated, to now feeling like there's no way you weren't involved. That's where I think we all are with that. And thank you for sharing that. Hey, Kathy, and hey, Diamond Girl. Thank you for being here. If y'all don't mind, smash the like. And like Catwoman said, welcome to all the new members. Thank you guys so much.
Okay.
She didn't
Any
like
idea why?
I want to know why now. I heard that like once over the years that she was a big fan of him, and I was like, oh, maybe it's just a, you know, she didn't like a boyfriend, just, you know, anytime to warm up to him type of deal. And that was it. And now I'm hearing more and more she did not like him, she didn't trust him, and I want to know why. I want to ask her, like, what did you see that I missed? Because I don't want to miss this to another person. You know, somebody else around my daughter. I want to know what traits you see that I couldn't.
So Maddie makes it back to the house. I'll say condo, townhome, whatever.
Miss Kimmy says, wasn't there a blanket in the pics the police took in Stern's car? And if so, was it one of Jen or Maddie's to remove Maddie from the house? There was a brown blanket. It looked like a moving blanket, and it had white stains on it, which was weird. So I don't know if he used that blanket to remove her from the house or not. It looked like just one of the cheap little moving blankets. But yes, there was a picture of a blanket, and it could have been used to remove her from the house. Again, though, I question how, I don't know how he got her out. To be sure, if he was carrying her, I assume would be over his shoulder, right? Because how are you going to carry a limp body out of a house, without anybody seeing? From what I understand, the car was parked a few feet from the front door. So maybe if he moved quickly enough, he could have, I don't know.
Whatever.
Yeah. The unit.
At some point that evening, Sunday evening, Stefan comes home because Jen asked him to come here to help because she's tired because of the new job.
That's the way I understand it. Yeah.
Have you ever heard of what the dynamic was? There's sleeping arrangements between Jen, Maddie, or Stefan throughout the years?
I honestly have been trying to figure that out myself. I understood that Maddie slept with Jen, and they had one room for a while. So my guess is they all slept in the same bed for a little while. I don't know when, how long, or any of that. Like that. That's always bothered me. Maddie sleeping not in her own bed, starting elementary school, like that to me is just like something a kid needs to do to self-soothe and grow to be individual and not have to rely on another person always being there. So that's always bothered me. And I've tried asking Jen about that over years and trying to encourage her, and it's just an argument. It's just a case that it's like I'm never going to win. So why am I to keep poking at something?
Did Jen ever mention to you that, you know, she would need to get some sleep, so Maddie would either sleep in her room or sleep in somebody else's room or anything like that?
That happened during our relationship, but it wasn't another room. It was just like, oh, can we put the kids at my mom's tonight so we can have a night off?
Gotcha. Okay.
Because she would just need, like, we has time to breathe and need space away from the kids. Like, okay, let's see, you know, we can do that. And we try and let them out, but it was different when I was there. Like, nobody slept in the bed with us. Unless it was a nightmare. Like, that was my condition. And if she wanted space, then we would coordinate stuff with her family to go watch.
I think that's the way it should be. Diamond Girl said, is it possible for him to move a body if it's pitch dark, yet most of everyone else is more than likely sleeping? Yes, it was possible. And it's possible that it happened because if everybody in the house was asleep and he moved the body when everybody was asleep, then it's possible he could have got out without anybody seeing. That would be my thought process on that he did it while everybody was sleeping. Sarah, I'm sorry you're cleaning. Abella said, Basil, he is laying behind me sleeping. Gothic says, why ask Stefan to come back to Kissimmee after Maddie's birthday party when the week before her birthday party, Maddie was staying at her grandma's? Maddie cried when she had to go home. Good question. I wonder if maybe grandma said she couldn't keep her that week for some reason. But again, I mean, that just means you need to be the mother and do your parental duties. Bad Girl said Jen couldn't cope at anything except go get her meds. Right? Right? Hey, Leah, thank you for being here. Did Jen tell her ex about the SA photos when she asked him to get a lawyer for Stefan on Monday? Great question. If I had to assume, I would say probably not.
I don't know what conversations you've had with Ashlyn since this has all happened. Has Ashlyn confided into?
I've asked her a lot of questions, not try to be too pointed, but hopefully to get some stuff. Asked her, like, did he ever try and spend alone time with you, or try and just like hang out with you and Maddie alone when Jen wasn't around? Did Maddie ever talk about him, you know, specifically? Did she ever say anything positive or negative? But was there at any point in time she wanted to specifically talk about him, like in any way? Did you ever see a mood change? And they're talking about it, and she was like, yeah, like the past couple years, she's been like, they almost like stopped playing games because Maddie was just like destroying her stuff on Minecraft, and it was frustrating my daughter. And she was like, I'm done playing with her. And then I guess like a few months ago, she just started playing nice and started playing better. And so like I'm trying to think about this with the timeline. I'm trying to remember. I was like, is this when Jen kicked Stefan out of the house?
When was that?
I'm trying to remember when they separated. I'm trying to figure that date. Was that a few months ago? Is that when Maddie started lightening up and started feeling better and stopped being destructive to everybody?
So Steven, the ex-husband, is picking up on the fact that Maddie is not being destructive and hateful and irritable to everybody around her when Stefan isn't there, just like the teachers did, just like everybody else except oblivious Jen, poo-poo Jen. So how is it that she didn't pick up on it? I mean, again, I don't believe it. Kalisa says, Jen's sister Stephanie lived 10 minutes away. Maddie could have stayed with her as well. I want to know the real reason Maddie had to come home the night she passed away. I do too. Catwoman says she wanted to see Stefan take the stand, and I do too. Free Gaza, free Palestine. Thank you for being here. And yeah, I'm glad that you were gifted a membership. They're really sweet about gifting. I will read 2 more comments real quick. Diamond Girl said, I seriously think Jen was part of it all. She may not have done the unaliving, but I bet Stefan panicked and came and told her that they made up their plan. He isn't that motivated or smart to plan it, right? And hey, Pamela, thank you for being here. Pamela said, I think he took her out and put her in the car in the dark, laid the seat back, covered with a blanket, and then came back later to, quote, take her to school and moved her into the sitting position. That makes sense.
Around her, and did she start feeling like she could push back on this guy, after being gone for a few months, and then this fucking happened?
Yep, I think so.
So that's all Ashlyn said really is
She doesn't remember anything.
In the last couple of months, she just noticed a little bit of a demeanor change.
Yeah. She was playing a little better online, and she was acting a little nicer.
How did Ashlyn and Maddie communicate?
They text every day.
Like text message through the phone?
Miss Kimmy, I'm sorry that your daughter felt that way. I'm assuming that, you have protected her, though, and that's a valid reason if she's scared something's going to happen to mom. I don't fault you for that personally. Tiffany said, hi, everyone. Hey, Tiffany, thank you for being here. Bad Girl said, you think Maddie threatened to tell on Stefan and that's why she was murdered? Yeah, I do. Or the crush scenario, or she was with child. One of the 3.
Oh, Snapchat,
IG. No, my daughter doesn't have Instagram. She has Discord.
What's her name? Discord.
I'd have to look it up. Give me a second. I have service in here. I'm sure you'll see it on Maddie's as well. She did try and message her after all this just to see if she was online, was able to pop up. So, well, one of the recent hays is from my daughter.
Yes, Anders.
I have to download it. Give me a second.
I don't remember if he says her name or not, but if he does, don't go get this child out.
Do you know if anybody else communicated with Maddie through Discord, like Jen, Stefan, any of Jen's family or anything like that?
This other boy, Tyler, he's the same age as Ash. They were in 2nd grade together and been friends ever since.
Y'all let me know if you think it's normal for a child to have Discord. Like I never would have had Discord or thought about having Discord until I had a YouTube channel. I don't know if it's normal for kids to have a Discord. My kids don't have Discord or even know what it is. Is that normal? Because it seems like it's kind of like Reddit, where a lot of people could be putting up facades of being somebody that they're actually not and could be there for nefarious reasons. Y'all let me know if you think it's normal for a kid to have a Discord.
I think they've met each other in person maybe a couple times at Ash's birthday parties.
Okay.
But they typically just play online. He lives up in Deltona. But yeah, they've been playing together online for like 3 years now. Minecraft and stuff together. Maddie, Ash, and Tyler.
Has Maddie ever tell you or Ashlyn or anybody that she had a boyfriend or anything like that?
No, and we've talked to Tristan, Tyler's mom, as well, just to see like if they think he knows or said. But he says like I really rarely ever talked to her unless Ash was present. Like they weren't that close. Like Maddie and Tyler were that close of friends to really talk one-on-one. But like anything I've thought of to ask Ash.
Do you know Stefan uses Discord?
I'm sure he does. I don't.
I would love to find that information. I had his Reddit. I've got a video out about his Reddit stuff. He did some questionable things on Reddit. Leah said, why didn't anyone just report Jen to Child Protection Services? That's a good question. I think that people like Stefan's ex-girlfriend, were concerned but didn't want to be wrong and then be causing trouble. Because, while CPS is good for children that need the help, there's also CPS people who have taken children out of homes that didn't need to be taken out. So it's a scary situation. I I think most people wanted to be absolutely certain about things before they made a call like that, because you don't want to do that and then be wrong and traumatize a child for no reason and all of that. I think that would be the hesitation in a lot of people. Hey, Roxanne, thank you for being here. A lot of you are saying no about the Discord. Kids shouldn't have Discord. I would have not. My kids have never even asked me about Discord or know what it is. Occasionally Classy says, I don't think it's normal for kids, especially who have parents who check social media regularly. I checked my kids' online games and messages when they were young. Yeah, and I check my kids too. Yeah, Roxanne, Discord's kind of like it's like a chat thing where you can talk to people. And last one real quick, Susie Q, thank you for being here, said I think Discord is used lots for online gaming, and the roommate said Maddie was on the computer lots. Maybe she used it for gaming. Plus, Steven just said Maddie would play games with his daughter. So, okay, that gives me a new perspective. Maybe that's why, because I do know there's a lot of games on Discord you can play.
I don't know what it is, but it wouldn't surprise me if he did. I know he used Reddit. Wouldn't surprise me he had multiple accounts and how often he was on it type deal.
Like, I know very limited stuff about Reddit. So I know Reddit is like forums that you can look at stuff or whatever. Any idea like what kind of forums he would be part of?
I only know now because his username's been put online and I've looked through it. I didn't know beforehand.
What's his username?
Sustenance.
I'll pull it up for you. Yeah, he's been on recently on Ask Teens over the past month. I saw.
Yeah, he was giving advice about a teen that was pregnant, which is weird. That's in the Reddit video. I've heard people say real quick about that tattoo on his right shoulder. That is a family crest. Someone said it was sustenance, and it's not. I don't know if I have the video up or not, but it's a family crest for the Stearns name. Since said I use the Family Link app so I can see everything that goes on my phone. Yeah, we have one of those too that I use. Roxanne said, in my opinion, social media has gone from good to creepy. I agree. Sarah said you can also live stream games off of your PlayStation or Xbox, etc. Yep.
Sorry, I've had a lot of text messages recently.
That's okay.
That's his username on Reddit. At least his public one. I'm still trying to see if I can have friends find any alternates that he has. Because most consistent Reddit users have at least 2 or 3.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
At least in my experience. I'm sure you guys use way more than me, so you guys may know more about that. But
so if that's his username, you can see what forums he's part of.
You can see the ones he's posted in, just like all the places he's made comments and stuff. He has like 6.5 years of history, it looks like. The past month, like it's all like gaming stuff. You can see the progression over time. Like I saw a picture of him 6 years ago at my house playing tabletop games.
Abella said, I think it does actually say sustenance in his family crest. Okay, so maybe where it's supposed to be Stearns, it says sustenance. I couldn't see that closely, so you could be right.
Like a picture of the board that we were playing on, like adult board games and guns, and then Nerf guns and Tamagotchis and just more childish stuff. You can see the way he talks starts to change online. There's more emojis. His gender starts to become more generic and stuff.
If you guys want to see that, let me know. I can jump into that video. I don't know how long it is, but I know I've gone through his Reddit and recorded it for a video if y'all want to see that. Since said it does say sustenance. So where it would say Stearns in the family crest, evidently his says sustenance. Okay. Thank you for that.
Like you can see, like there's a warp and the way he acts online over these. It's weird, like seeing this change, and then now it's all. And then like the past month, you can see like Ask Teens.
Ask Teens, porn Ask Teens?
No, it's just like teens can ask questions about life, and there was even one. Where is it? Sorry, I don't know if you guys already looked through this or not,
Not at
or
all.
I'm sure you guys have another team who probably does all the IT stuff, or I don't know.
Gives advice to a pregnant
There was one that
teenager.
was a girl was asking about being pregnant and what to do, and he responded on it, and it freaked me the fuck out.
Yeah, it freaked me out too. Stinky Magoo. Right, Catwoman? Oh, Stinky Magoo. Hey,
Yes,
Sunflower.
I'm pregnant. I don't know what to do. And I'm responding.
Sorry, I gotta zoom in.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
There he is.
I'll let you read that, Mike.
Yeah.
I want to go back a little bit.
Yeah.
When you were with Jen,
Mm-hmm.
I know you had said back then she wasn't on medication for her mental health, and that was kind of building up.
Yeah, not that I recall her being on meds.
Was Maddie on any medication back then?
No, not that I recall.
No.
I think the only person on meds was my daughter for ADD.
Okay. Do you know if Maddie has ever been on medication?
I don't.
You don't. Okay. Do you know if she's been diagnosed with anything?
I heard she was previously diagnosed with autism, but
Okay.
I thought I also heard she was retested, and they said she only had autistic traits, but is not autistic.
You know when that would have been?
Within the past few years. I think Jen told me when I talked to her earlier this month in February that's when she told me, I think that's when she told me that she wasn't showing, or she only had traits and she was no longer diagnosed. It was ADD. Oh, I think she had ADD.
Since said weird fact, K translute sustanet Latin, he who transplanted sustains, or he who transplanted continues to sustain is state motto of Connecticut. That's interesting.
Okay. And she had to take meds for that.
Right, Anders?
Sorry,
I know
there's so many
it's
kids.
Overload.
I have so many nieces and nephews and cousins, and it's so many kids to keep track of.
I think so, Roxanne. Hey, Thomas.
I have to call my daughter to see if she remembers, because I know they would talk about medications.
Okay, but when
and
you
stuff.
guys were together, you don't specifically remember her being on medication.
Not that I recall, other than like when she was sick type meds.
Right. Okay. How was your and Maddie's relationship? Was she pretty outgoing with you? Was she more reserved?
Was so bubbly. I always describe she was a Sour Patch Kid. She was always a little sour before she was sweet, but you have to get through that little bit of sour with her, that little bit of attitude. Like every picture of her you see, like she was a little hip hop. She was just like, it's always that little she had like this face too. She could stare across her like, what are you doing? Do you have ice cream? I know you have ice cream. Like she's had this way about her. She can like
so
pierce
sweet
into you and make you question what you're doing for a second. Like, hold on, what? Okay, I'll share with the kid. You're cute, you know. And she was a brilliant kid, and
You know, I haven't heard Jen say one nice thing about Maddie, and to hear all these other people talk nicely about her makes me feel like she did know at least what love was, like actual love and caring from an adult. From some people, it's unfortunate that it wasn't in her everyday life. Since said crazy fact, sustanet is the third person singular present active indicate of sustaneto, meaning to support, bear, or endure. Thank you. Stephen is sweet and kind, Kalisa. Only her singing. Yeah, that's the only thing that she commented her on.
she was smart in many ways. Bullheaded and all the rest.
Did she I
wish. I try. When he first came in the picture for the first like couple years, I remember I asked her all the time because I lived here in Florida. I was like, hey, how is he? How's Stefan? Like, is he treating you nice?
Eek, eek. This is Steven that's talking. His name is Steven, not Stefan. Stefan, she wasn't talking about Stefan. She's talking about Steven. It's confusing. But Steven is Jen's ex-husband, and then Stefan is the stinky Magoo that we don't like.
Like, is he good to your mom? Like, just want to check on him. And I can go back if you look at any of those. But yeah,
You know, she was pretty open with your daughter.
I feel like she was. I thought she was. I was hoping the two of them had each other, so if anything ever happened, then they know they could talk to the other, and then somehow it would get to one of us parents so we could navigate it. Like, that was my goal, was then to be sisters, you know, to have the other person always confide in that's somewhere else. So, you know, like, hey, they're not in the same shit you're in. They can help you get out if something's wrong. And that's what I always wanted to have. But
Have you asked your daughter if she's had these type of conversations with Maddie back then?
I've asked my daughter if, like, semi-pointed questions without being too direct on any of this stuff. Just like, you know, like I said before, like, did Stefan ever try and, you know, hang out with you two one-on-one? Did Maddie ever talk about him specifically? But
I mean, I would think that she did talk about him, but I don't know if she had been trained not to. Diamond Girl said, could it have been easy for Jen to take Madeline to doctors and claim she needs those meds? Was she making her daughter sick to abuse her so the meds that made her drowsy was normal? I think it's a possibility if we're speculating. Like, I think that she definitely could have went to the doctors and said, you know, oh, she's doing this and she's doing that and she doesn't realize it. Like, it's actually not that hard, because a psychiatrist or doctor is going to believe what the parent said, thinking the parent has the best interest of their child at heart. So yeah, she probably could have taken her to the doctor and said she was doing all these things or needed all these things when she actually didn't. It's a possibility. Hey, Shauna.
nothing. Like, if I had gotten anything, I would have called you guys. Like, I want anybody responsible for this to have the justice served, no matter who it is. I want them to be taken care of.
How would you describe Jennifer and Maddie's relationship?
They were really close. They were really loving. Jen sometimes could be distant depending on where she was at with her mental state, but she was always there for Maddie. Sometimes she would, I don't know, check out's the right word, but she just would be an overload, and she would just ask her mom to take care of Maddie. But she really did love Maddie, and she really did care about her and Ash, and really tried to take care of them. At least I thought. I just think she's just had so many mental issues that it caused lapses that caused this. If that makes any sense.
This is a difficult question, but it has to be asked, and it's asked of other people as well. Do you think Jen had anything to do, or do you think she had knowledge of what was happening to Maddie?
I've been trying to.
So if the detective is asking the people around her that, right? I mean, they're questioning it as well. So I don't think we're out of line for asking those questions, because the detectives are asking them as well. So it's not like we're seeing things that aren't there. We're seeing things that are there, evidence pointing to the fact that she knew. Rachel said, poor Maddie was terribly misdiagnosed, in my opinion. All her symptoms were from the abuse, neglect, and trauma. I agree. I think she was acting out and having issues because she was being abused. It would kill me if it comes out that it was, oh, goodness gracious. God, I hope not. Since that she was there like a lumpy potato on the couch. Yeah. Jen sure was.
I'm going to ask myself that ever since I found out Steph was arrested, and I thought that he was.
So if you had to ask yourself if there's a possibility that Jen knew or Jen was involved, the answer more than likely is probably yeah, I would think.
You know, somebody that was there to protect Maddie. And honestly, I think she could have made enough, I don't say stupid decisions, but wrong decisions with timing meds and things like that, that this kind of stuff could have happened. But I don't think there's any way she would have deliberately known, or if she had known, wouldn't have tried to get her out, of that situation. Like, she has family she can go to. She has friends like me and other places that she knows she can go to another state to escape someone. I felt like if she really felt like she was a danger, she would have gotten out.
You feel like if you thought she was in danger, she would have gotten her out of the situation. And what, like, put her at her grandma's house, like what she was doing, and then only keeping her occasionally, like what it sounds like she was doing? I mean, if she was in danger, she would have got her out of the situation. Like, what do you mean by that? That's a weird statement. Got her out. Would she have gotten Maddie out and then stayed in the situation? Would she have gotten Maddie out if she was making bukus of money from what was going on? And Maddie, being at an age where she thinks that she's in love with Stefan, thought it was okay. And so they all just devised a plan to make money. I mean, this is me allegedly speculating, but that's a weird statement to make. Like, why wouldn't it be if she knew what was going on? She would have called the police and left the state, or called the police and turned him in. But that's not what he said. What he said was he would have gotten her out of the situation. Like, what do you mean? And I question, would she have gotten her out of the situation if Maddie was so twisted in the head by Stefan that she thought she was in love with Stefan, referencing the Woody Allen situation, and they were all making money off of it? That's my question. Oh, I think it's redacted.
Who do you think she would confide in?
I thought of Ash. I thought of Ash. I was hoping that those two would have a close-up relationship, that if something happened to one, they could tell the other.
She was scared and thought it was normal, in my opinion. MK said, I wonder if all Maddie's meds were prescribed by her pediatrician or general practitioner. Did she see a psychiatrist? That's a good question. Sue Joy, thank you for being here. Sue Joy said, wonder if anywhere in the digital evidence Stefan has saved any info on Jen in order to take her down with him as an insurance policy. I'm sure if it's out there, you could find, I'm sure if it was put out and that's actually what was going on, there will be evidence and they will be able to find it.
Because everybody needs someone like that.
How is your daughter taking it?
She's been broken. Like, she's just been...
That's so sad.
Kind of feel like the journey I've been on, it's just felt like the first 5 days was just solid crying, and now it's just feeling numb. Like, there's no tears left. It's not that we're not sad. It's just feel empty.
I know when this was all first going down and Stefan got arrested, that you and Jen had conversations about securing an attorney for him and stuff like that.
I thought he was innocent. And I was hoping that, okay, we can get this guy cleared so we can find the right person, and that way it will help everything run smoother. So let's get all the ducks in a row. Let's get him.
Bad girl, I think that's what it was. Bad girl said, or Maddie was in love and thought of Stefan as her boyfriend. I think that's what it was. Jen condoned it, and they were possibly producing images of what was already going on and accepted in the household, unfortunately, and making money off of it. I think it's a possibility.
And like, I remember him on the phone. He was like, I'm on my phone. And I was like, don't worry about the phone. Like, they have it. It's there. So we can buy you another one. It's not a big deal. What you need to do is let them go through it. Do what they need to do so we know you're clear. And then they could find who this really was. And that's... Because I thought that he was their protector too.
But he was asking for his phone. They say why?
I think he meant something like you want to check his packages. Like, he was always obsessed with buying shit. Always obsessed with buying shit. I didn't quite understand that. Like, it threw me off, and I should have questioned it more in that moment when he said it. But I was just in such a frazzle. Just like, no, we got to find out who did this. Like, if you're not it, let's get you a lawyer so we can make sure everything is done correctly. And then they can move on to find whoever that is. And
so that just verifies again that Jen was trying to get him a lawyer, and they were like, and Steven, being the good person that he was, thinking that Stefan wasn't involved, was like, no, just let them have your phone, let them search through it, we'll get you a lawyer, and you'll be good, because he's thinking he's not involved. Susie Q said, a child that has panic attacks and trouble sleeping and huge anxiety and trouble in school and concentration has had something happen to them that is not simply normal childhood experiences. Most of the time, yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree.
And then, like, once I found it was him, which was like, I fucking defended this guy. I thought that he was there for her. Like, I would not have tried to defend this guy if I knew in any way, shape, or form that he was in any way culpable. And I feel like
an
idiot.
What point did that change for you?
Which,
where you went from, hey, they might have the wrong guy, let's give him an attorney, to F this guy?
Once I found out that they found stuff on his phone. Okay. Once that came out, I'm like, what the, like, I was surprised.
How did you hear about, was it through the media or was it through Jen?
A combination of, they both about came in at the same time. When I think Jen was in question at that time, I wasn't able to talk to her for too much around then.
I was muted, sorry. Bad girl, there was a coin that Maddie sent to Stephen in a text message saying that we should get one of these. And what it was a coin from Amazon that you flip, and it says daddy duty or mommy duty, and you flip it to see who's going to change the baby's diaper or do whatever needs to be done with the baby. Is the mom going to do it, or is the dad going to do it? And Roxanne was saying maybe that Amazon coin made Jen flip out when she saw it. Maybe that Amazon parent coin put Jen over the edge like it did me. Yeah, there it is. She said, Maddie, text Stephen, we need to get this for us. It was a coin from Amazon, said parent decision coin, flip for whose turn, mom or dad's. It was to take care for a baby. Yep.
No, I think she had messaged me before I saw it on the media that he was arrested, because she was in shock that she had seen it and was told about it.
Do you think it was genuine? Her being in shock?
I can never wait through text. Texts are emotionless. It's like, I can try and say I can read an emotion, but it's just text. I wasn't talking to her at the time, like in person. It's like, that's why I need to see people's faces. I need to hear their voice, see their pace to get a better idea. A text is just words on a page. But she just seemed
It's redacted.
and she was trying to figure out what degree should this guy be punished, and I was like, do it. Like, whatever if he committed a crime and they're asking you to press the charges, do it. And yes, she had told me before I saw on the news, because she was asking, I was like, yes, press the charges, do it. Like, don't question yourself right now. He committed a crime.
Why are you asking if you should press charges when trigger warning, big trigger, I need a something, an air horn, trigger warning. Why are you asking if you should press charges on a person who is raping your child when you just saw a picture of him with his member in her fucking mouth? I mean, why did the question even cross your mind, ma'am? I mean, oh my God, this woman.
You let the press the charges, please do what they need to do. So yeah, I did find out before the news.
Did Jen ever tell you about looking for Maddie or anything like that?
I asked Monday and Tuesday numerous times, because I have family in the area and friends in the area that are all willing to come out and help search. And I kept asking, I was like, I can fly out, when can I come out? And she was saying nothing's organized yet. When I tried to talk to family members, they didn't have anything organized yet. And then eventually I saw that, I think it was Orange County requested that nobody be searching the area, because my guess is they want people disturbing areas they want to investigate.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I need to wait. I can't go and help search. And that was, I remember I kept asking the first few days, like, can we come out and search? I had family members can help search. Like, are there any organized parties that are happening? And,
why don't you feel it's necessary to search for your daughter, Jen? Do you already know where she's at, Jen? Do you already know the outcome, Jen? Hey, Rachel, thank you for being here. Rachel said, does anyone else think Stearns will flip on Jen in court? I don't know. I hope he does. I hope he does. I hope that's what that comment means. Unfortunately, when he said, I'm not the one who started it, I hope to God he's not victim blaming. I don't think he would be that stupid, especially with his lawyers giving him advice. I don't think that's what that comment means. I think it has something to do with Jen and something that happened in the past. And I think that I hope to God he flips on her in court. I really hope he does. And if he does, her dumb ass didn't admit to anything in the damn immunity interview, the limited immunity interview. So she's not going to be protected because you didn't give up any information that you could be protected from. So I hope they nail her ass to the wall. I really do. I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but that's what I feel. That's what I think. That's how I feel about that. Hey, Liddy, thank you for being here. Occasionally, Classy says, so Jen called Chris for a lawyer for Stefan right after she found out about photos on his phone. When did she tell Stefan that Stefan needed a lawyer? That's a good question. And I didn't catch the answer to that. I think it was right after they took his phone. Which, why would Stefan need a lawyer at that point? Hold up. I'm going to back that up just to hear that again. I'm going to take it back 4 minutes. I want to try to get that answer. We need the answer to that. Hold on a minute. That was a great question, Classy. Hold on.
But I don't think there's any way she would have deliberately known, or if she had known, wouldn't have tried to get her out, of that situation. Like, she has family she can go to. She has friends like me and other places that she knows she can go to another state to escape someone. I felt like if she really felt like she was a danger, she would have gotten it.
Okay, so we're listening to when he says that she was talking to Steven about a lawyer. Wait a minute now. Wait a minute.
No.
It's redacted. Miss Kimmy, if I was his brother, I would.
Who do you think she would confide in?
Speak out either.
I thought it would Nash. I was hoping that those two would have a close enough relationship that if something happened to one, they could tell the other. Because everybody needs someone like that.
How is your daughter taking it?
She's been broken. Like, she's just been. It's kind of felt like the journey I've been on. It just felt like the first 5 days was just solid crying, and now it's just feeling numb. Like, there's no tears left. It's not that we're not sad. It's just feel empty.
I know when this was all first going down and Stefan got arrested, that you and Jen had conversations about hiring an attorney for him and stuff like that.
I thought it was innocent.
So it did happen. Okay, him and Jen had conversations about securing an attorney for Stefan because Steven thought he was innocent. Why are we securing an attorney for Stefan only because they've taken the phone? Why would he need an attorney at that point? Like, if you knew or even thought he was innocent, then why wouldn't it be, well, they've checked your phone? Like Steven says, they took your phone to check it, let them check it, see you're not involved, and then everything's going to be good. They can move on and find who's involved. Why is Jen already talking about getting him a lawyer? What?
And I was hoping that, okay, we can get this guy cleared so we can find the right person, and that way it will help everything runs smoother. So let's get all the ducks in a row. Let's get him. And like, I remember him on the phone. He was like, I'm on my phone. I was like, don't worry about the phone. Like, they have it. It's there. So we can buy another one. It's not a big deal. What you need to do is let them go through it. Do what they need to do so we know you're clear. And then we can find who this really was. And that's because I thought that he was their protector too.
But he was asking for his phone. They say why?
In my passenger, no, I don't, no mod would have kicked you off. It might be something on YouTube. Sometimes YouTube doesn't do, I don't know, sometimes it messes up. None of my mods would have done anything or kicked you off. I don't know if it was YouTube or what. I don't know what's going on. All I see is I just paid for mine. I pay for mine. I'm sorry about what's going on with YouTube. So going back to this, Jen is talking to Steven, her ex-husband, about getting Stefan a lawyer, and all that's happened is Stefan's phone has been taken. Why are we needing to get Stefan a lawyer at this point? If you think that he's innocent, like Steven says, why not just give the phone, like he's saying, just let him have your phone, let him go through it. They'll clear you, and then they can move on to whoever's done this. Why is Jen so worried about getting him a lawyer? And this is before she's seen the pictures. And then after she sees the pictures, she's still worried about getting him a lawyer. Wow. That is crazy. I'm not seeing in my passenger. Wow, that's crazy. Y'all. Oh my God. All right, I'm going to put it back to where we were. So, excuse me. There's no way she didn't know. She was already trying to get him a lawyer. Right after they took his phone, she was already about getting him a damn lawyer. There's no way she didn't know. Absolutely not. She knew. That's why when they took the phone, she knew what they were going to find, and she knew that he was going to need a lawyer. So she's talking to Steven about it at that point in time. And then they show her the pictures, in my opinion, that she already knew about. And she's even more adamant about getting him a lawyer. Now she's going to call Chris, his dad, and say, we need to get him a lawyer. Wow. Wow. Diamond Girl says, from what I understand, Jen called Tyler and Steven about 4:30 that Monday, assuming she's possibly with friends. Too early to panic with them when they live out of town. Right. I don't know. Maybe she knew. Maybe she was calling to see if they'd heard anything. I don't know what Eek said. Let's see what Eek said real quick. He's not kicked out if we can see his chats. Oh. I don't know what's going on. I hope YouTube's not messing up. And then Susie Q real quick said, Jen probably hid the fact that Stefan was abusing Maddie, so Steven would help her find Stefan a lawyer, and she knew he wouldn't if he knew about the abuse, unlike Jen. Yeah, but I mean, if you're going to go and say you didn't know anything about the abuse, why are you trying to secure him a lawyer when all they've done is take his phone? Why would you not be under the impression like Steven is, let him take your phone, let him clear you, and then they can move on to find out who did this? But no, you're not doing that. You're trying to secure him a lawyer. Thank you, Emma Passenger, for becoming a member. From what I understand, it kicked you or did something. YouTube's been being really weird. Like, I can't even access my lives when I'm live. So I don't know what's going on. Edith says her first thought was getting a lawyer, not where's my daughter. It's sickening. Hey, Jeannie B, and I'm sorry, Emma Passenger, you're having to deal with that. This is infuriating.
Area and friends in the area, they're all willing to come out and help search. And I kept asking, I was like, I can fly out, when can I come out? And she was saying nothing's organized yet. When I tried to talk to family members, they didn't have anything organized yet. And then eventually I saw that I think it was Orange County requested that nobody be searching the area because my guess is they want people disturbing areas they want to investigate.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I need to wait. I can't go and help search. And that was, I remember I kept asking the first few days, like, can we come out and search? I have family members can help search. Like, is there any organized parties that are happening? And, yeah, she just seemed in utter shock and she couldn't wrap her head around it.
You seem like you lived in Kissimmee for a little bit, or Kissimmee, Orlando area for a little bit.
Yep.
Ever live in St. Cloud or anything like that?
No.
Does Jen or Stefan have any connections to St. Cloud that you know of?
Not that I know of.
I know you've been gone for a little bit, but
The only thing I know that might be down, because we were trying to look up stuff in the area when they're trying to find the bodies, we found there's a Warhammer store down there. I know who's really into Warhammer. That's in a very expensive game. So I don't know if he's familiar with that store. That's the only thing that I can think of. But I don't know personally that he went there. It was just a guess that we were trying to look to see if something was associated with them.
all right.
Did he ever disclose anything to you? Maybe not specifically about Maddie or anything, but being into certain things.
No, I was trying to think too if there's anything about sex we ever talked about or relationships or anything like that. The only thing I ever heard is from other.
It's redacted. Hey, Veronica, thank you for being here.
But that's all like secondhand. I have no validity to it. I can't validate anything. It's just secondhand something I heard. So.
And you heard this when?
Recently.
Like when this is going on, or
like,
prior to?
Like when this is going on.
Okay.
I've heard this from people. I didn't know this beforehand. This is all, you know.
When was the last time you talked to Jen?
Yesterday. Yeah. I texted her earlier today. Just check on her.
Okay, and my passenger, have a good day. Thank you for being here.
Context.
Just checking on her, see how they're doing. I still feel like her family is really close to me. Like her dad, Juan, and Yolanda have done a lot for me and Ashlyn over the years, even after we split up and divorced. So like I'm still trying to go over and help Juan out to get his apartment settled. I'm trying to be there for Yolanda if she needs anything. I do worry about Jen and her mental health, and you know, if she had nothing to do with this, then I would be there for her. If she has something to do with this, then take care of her. Like, do what you need to do. Like, I'm not here to defend somebody who's guilty.
The fact that he's saying that, I mean, he was married to her, so he knows her. If he has questions, I mean, I think that everybody can understand why the rest of us do as well. Tanya, thank you for being here. Tanya says, hello, I'm new here. I honestly just never made it to a lab. I watched all the videos though. Oh, wow. Well, thank you for that, Tanya. Catwoman, I hope you have a good night, honey. She has guilt knowledge. She absolutely does. She there's no way she would know what she knows unless she was involved. Veronica said, I think Jen had him fooled too. I think so too. Hey, Britt. Thank you for being here. Says exactly. Sweet dreams, Catwoman, and in my passenger, I hope you have a good night too.
Anybody that hurt Maddie in any capacity, like I want you to please do your job. Like ask me anything you need to know. Like,
do you think Jen had anything to do with it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think she's just gone through a lot, and because of her mental health, it just caused lapses that ended up with this.
Do you think Stefan would take advantage of Jen because of her mental health? Like, was her mental health diminishing? Well, you said it was kind of diminishing when you guys were together. That's one of the reasons you possibly split. Do you think when Stefan got together with her that she continued to degress or progress with her mental health? Or
it seemed to keep degressing. And not a psychologist, I don't know why that happens. You know, I try and look stuff up, but I'm an armchair expert, so you know, it seems like mental health, you know, gets worse in your.
Anders said, I think Stephen got a public lawyer. They will use the head trauma as mitigating in defense to avoid the death penalty. I'm wondering, because we do know the parents were telling Stephen on the phone call that they couldn't get information from the hospital where he went when he had the head injury. So I would lean toward that being the mitigating circumstances that he references, reiterating to the jury in that document that we read about a week ago. I wonder, though, if it also would have to do with Jen. I question if that's a reason.
Pretty easy. I think it's that, but I'm not a psychologist.
If mitigating circumstances were that he was being controlled by Jen and told to do it by Jen.
I have no idea. I'm just a plumber who
so
loves a lot of people. Trying to build a company. We're almost breaking even.
How would you describe her emotions on a normal basis?
Jen or Maddie? Jen. She kind of seems elongated most days. A lot's happened to her. A lot of things have happened to her.
I'm sorry. A lot of things have happened to me too, but that doesn't mean I'm out here being completely fucking oblivious to shit going on around me. I just cannot. Rachel said, he said, quote, I don't think so, with some hesitation for sure. I think he knows that she knew something. I think so too. I think if you have to question it, I think that if you're having to question it, then I think you already know the answer. And, you know, a lot of things have happened to me in my past. A lot of things have happened to you in your past. A lot of things have happened to him in his past, and her in her past, and them in their past, and those in their past. It's not a freaking excuse. A lot of things have happened to a lot of people. That doesn't mean we're running around here with the Woody Allen situation going on. Hey, Sub Rosa.
That's been hard for, that'd be hard for anybody to live with. And sometimes she gets excited about things, you know. She definitely gets sad about things. She doesn't seem as outward with her emotions. You have to like look at her, but you can see like inside, like sometimes she's torn and she's damaged, but the medications make it so you can't see it. Like she doesn't show it as much as like another person would sometimes, but like when you know her, you can see it inside of her. You can see how destroyed she is. You can see how anxious she is. You know, she sometimes looks calm. And it's just one of those things, like once you know somebody for so long, like you could tell some stuff about them. But
Leah, who is still supporting Jen? I hope the ex-husband isn't, unless it's court ordered for him. I don't know if it might be court ordered, but I would hope he's not doing it willingly. Well, I mean, he might be if he really believes that she didn't know anything. So I guess I could understand if that's his real belief in that. Tanya said, yes, we all have trauma. We're not out here repeating the things that happened to us. I couldn't even fathom doing the things I went through to anyone, right? I couldn't either. It's not an excuse. It's just not.
You think her reactions have been genuine?
I think so. I think she's just like really medicating herself right now to get through it, and therefore she's really seeming really numb right now. But yeah, I keep seeing her break down and how sad she's been, and I feel legitimate, but I don't know if it's my own personal involvement with Maddie and my love for her that I don't think anybody else of that could have that capability of not loving Maddie. You know, maybe it's my own naivety, but my heart doesn't tell me that. But again, not a professional.
I know we touched on it a little bit, but have you known any medications that Maddie's on?
After we were talking about it, I think she was diagnosed with ADD and may have been on ADD med, but I don't know for certain. Okay. I can't like swear under any oath that I know she was on the meds.
But you did say that medication that, you know, Jen's been taking has caused her to go into a deep sleep or something like that. Or
yeah, I think sometimes it, like I don't know exactly which meds will knock her out, but I know I've been on meds before that made me completely knock out and you know pass out for the night and use the time for bedtime to make sure you know like after all the parenting hours are done, you know gotta take it then. And I don't know which one she's been on and when, but I've been on medications like that for depression before, and sometimes they just knock you out. Like you can't help the medication. If that's what the doctor says is going to help you. You know, you try and work with it.
But then you stop taking the medication. When I noticed medication was knocking me out to where I couldn't take care of my child or be there for them, I stopped taking it abruptly, actually. And you're not supposed to do that with lithium. That's just me, though. Like, you talk to your doctor, you get something else. Because I'm sorry, I mean, even if I am depressed, upset, and having to deal with anxiety and post-traumatic stress issues, if it's causing me to be detrimental to those around me, I'm going to stop taking it. And then if I get in such a low to where I want to do something, you know, horrendous or whatever, if that's what was going on with her, I would never do that. But if that was what was going on with her, then she needs to go to the hospital and get some different medication immediately. That's not going to make her feel like that. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. Yeah, called the doctor for a med change. It's no excuse occasionally, Class D. It's not. And everybody is making excuses for Jen, including Jen. And I'm just fed up with it.
The doctor so you can get better. And
how long are you staying down here for?
My wife and daughter are going to be flying back on Thursday. I'm going to help clear out some of the apartment on Thursday. I'll be flying on Friday. If you guys need to talk to me, have my phone number. Let me know. If there's anything you want me to ask my daughter, I really don't want her to get brought in to get questions. Like, I don't want her to get too scarred. But if you guys have questions you would like me to ask her, and I can try to approach her in a soft way, I'd be happy to help in any way I can. I just want to make sure I'm not scarring her anymore. Sure.
Let me ask you this. Does your daughter does she see any kind of therapist or anything like that
We are
on a regular basis?
We just before all this, we got an occupational therapist, and we just got her started with a main therapist, like with a.
We have about 1 more minute left of this interview, then we're going to jump into the biological dad, Ty. Susie said in Canada, which is probably similar to the U.S., statistically speaking, 1 in 3 women have or will experience sexual assault in their lifetime. Imagine if every woman acted like Jen, plus she was like that before hers. Yeah, she was like that before she was unfortunately sexually assaulted. And if we all acted like that, good God almighty. Exactly. Eek gifted 10 memberships. Thank you so much, Eek. Wow. Thank you for being so supportive. I really appreciate that. If you guys were gifted a membership from Eek, please tell her thank you. That is so sweet and super supportive. I cannot thank you enough, Eek. My goodness. Thank you so much. I'm going to play our clip real quick. Much, Eek. That was super supportive. Thank you. And congratulations to all the new members. Thank you so much. I know. I gotta fix that. There would be some real emotions, right, Liddy? Absolutely. Thank you, Eek. You're so sweet, love.
The EAP 10 session program, and so that's where we're trying to get her back on Thursday because her first appointment's on Friday. But yeah, we're trying to.
Does her therapist know what's going on?
She is aware of what's going on. Social work at school is aware of what's on, and then her occupational therapist is aware, just so they all know before she steps in. Everything.
Okay. Are they on board if she discloses something to them, to let law enforcement, or
Yeah, if there's something pertaining to this case that she finds out or they find out, like I want them to be able to share it. Like because
I know they can't share information with us because it's a patient client.
I could talk to the therapist beforehand and ask them like, hey, if you find out anything about this front, we need to contact some people so they can get the right information over. Is
that's between you and the therapist? We can't get involved in that,
right? But is that what you're asking?
If she happens to mention something during therapy and that is told to you, can you just please let me know?
Yes. Okay. Yes. If there's anything pertaining to this that will help out, I will definitely let you guys know. Again, if anybody is part of this, I want justice to be served.
Anything else, do you? All right, we are going. It is 3:13. We are going.
Since I've got the 896 page document that I've been reading through, and I think I'm on page about 400 of it. The first video zooms in, and I don't know why it did that, but I had already uploaded that video to YouTube like 6 times trying to fix it because it kept kicking it back. So I'm not redoing that one. But if you listen to what's read, you can hear what the document says. And the second one, I go through about 200 pages, but there's a lot of redactions. And I got to get another video put out. But I had the 501 document dump has a lot of information, but the 896 page document dump has more information than even the 501 page does. And I've been going through that. I got to put another video out on that soon. So we're going to jump into the interview with Tyler, Maddie's dad. Jeannie B, I think we all dwell on it a lot. I wish that they would arrest her. So this is going to be a phone interview. Oh, did you? That's interesting. I'll have to check it out. This is going to be a phone interview with Tyler and Madeline. And the person you're going to see in the pictures is Madeline with her dad and stepmom. Well, that's good, Veronica. I'm glad you did a good deed today.
Person present or myself. Hi, is this Tatiana and Tyler?
Yeah.
Okay. Once again, appreciate you taking my call this afternoon.
It's staticky. I'm going to get with Grish, Grisch, and see what they're using to remove the background noise. They removed some noise from the audio in a couple videos, which is good. Susie Q said, is Steven's daughter who Maddie calls her sister. That was my impression, but I've never been able to figure it out. I think so, but I'm not sure. Occasionally, Classy, if you look at the bottom of chat where you type to chat, there should be like a little dollar symbol, and I think you can purchase them there, but I'm not sure. I know if you touch, like if you click on like where at the top it says 10 gifts, then you can enable gifting that way. Or if you're on iPhone, there's a link in the description box to enable it. Okay, I'll ask her to share it and see what she has. Grish, I watch Grish. Grish has emailed me, and I got to email them back. But Grish is a great channel to check out too.
So as you're well aware, I got myself and my partner here, Detective Smallwood. We are working the case in reference to Madeline. All right. So I know, Tatiana, you're not biologically involved, but Tyler is. So I'm going to ask a majority of my questions. I need him to answer instead of you. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Tyler, can you spell your first and last name for me?
Yes, sir. My first name is Tyler, Tyler.
Okay.
My last name is Wallace, Wallace.
Okay, and your telephone number? Got it. Okay. So once again, first of all, I want to express our condolences to you.
Thank you, sir.
I know it's a difficult time for you and everybody else that's involved. So some of these questions may be difficult for you to answer, but I want you to do your best you can, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, Tyler.
I'm going to turn this down a little bit. I wonder who was here but then left. And I saw somebody say, I'm sorry, Abellis. I hope everything's okay. Veronica said, did Stearns excuse her baby as a pedo and a murderer? So maybe her point of view is not that accurate. Yeah, she did. Darlene said, I don't believe Tatiana was so loving towards Maddie. I got the impression she was very jealous of Jen and Ty's relationship to the point he wasn't in Maddie's life as much as he should have been. Well, we're going to talk about that because there's an answer to that here in just a second. And it's possible.
You are Madeline's biological father. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. I am her biological father.
Okay. When were you and Jennifer together?
Are you asking our physical time or like relationship time?
Yeah, relationship time.
We dated when I was 16. I believe we were together for roughly 3 years. And then we ended up having an encounter in 2009 from which Maddie was born.
Okay.
Lisa said Tatiana is something else, telling Maddie her mommy is ugly. That ain't cool. I've never heard that. I hope it would mean like maybe her personality is ugly, and I could understand why she might say that considering what we're about to hear. Veronica said, maybe, but she definitely showed much care and support to find her 1,000 times more than Jen. She even spoke at her funeral. And then Cynth said Tatiana's crushed. I believe it. So we're going to find out, like, if she did say something like that, I could kind of understand why after we find out what we're about to find out. And so far, we've heard that Madeline is the product of an encounter in 2009 that her and Madeline's dad, Tyler, had, and that they had dated when she was 16 for about 3 years.
Okay. We were not together at the time. I was with my wife. We were engaged. Well, we weren't engaged yet, but it was around that time.
Got it. Okay. Were you in Florida here, or where were you guys at?
I was at the time of our dating, so when I was 16, 13 years of age and such, we would have been in Florida around Orlando and Kissimmee. I was living with my parents at the time. She was living with hers. At the time of our second encounter in 2009, I would have been stationed, I believe, in Baltimore, Maryland, doing training, and then in Kings Bay, Georgia Naval Base is where I was stationed for my duty station, and I encountered her there.
Okay. Did she live up there or just come to visit? How did that come about?
She was visiting. Our initial encounter in 2009, she was living in New York with her father at the time. I had just gone through boot camp, and we had connected, I believe, on MySpace. And then she ended up visiting me and a group of my Marines around November. And I only know it was that time because it was around the Marine Corps ball, so I have some.
So basically what we've heard so far is that Tyler was with Tatiana, and he was stationed working in the Marines, and he was stationed in Georgia, and Jen came up to visit. Bear and Marshmallow said, you can tell that Tyler's terrified to talk about Jen in front of Tati. Toy will never hear this interview. Tati says she would talk badly about Jen in front of Maddie. Not a good move for a stepmom. Yeah, I agree. Sometimes it's I don't know, hard. Since said his military court-martial devastated him, divested him of his custody of Madeline, and Yolanda and Juan paid a lot for Jen to get custody. I believe that.
Something to tie it to. I'm actually pretty wishy-washy with time, but that was around the period our encounter would have occurred.
Got it.
I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Can you reframe or if I answered that, let me know.
Yeah, you're good. So you guys weren't actually dating at the time she was conceived. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, correct.
Okay. How much involvement have you had in Maddie's life?
I have tried to maintain civil connections with the mother. I would say prior to the last 2 years, I normally got to see my daughter about once a year. But I was involved in a legal case in which I had to go to prison for 2 months due to some stuff that occurred in the Marine Corps in 2009. The short version of the story there is that I had some friends, in air quotes, who stole ammunition from the government. And then when an investigation came out from that, I was contacted by NCIS. I rendezvoused with them. I provided information. And then due to the nature of the case, I was required to spend 2 months in prison in the Federal Detention Center in Houston, Texas. And I just never financially recovered from that. So it's like it was 2 years since I got to see Maddie. And the last time I saw her was October of last year.
And where were you then? Did you come to Florida or?
She came to Texas.
Maddie was sent to visit.
So he wasn't able to be in her life much. He did get to see her 2 years before the last time he saw her in October when she came to Texas to see him.
That's in Texas. She traveled unattended. I received her at the airport.
Okay. How would you describe the relationship between you and Jennifer right now?
I am not contacting Jennifer, and I desire to receive updates outside of the family. All the information I have regarding my daughter has been passed to me through her family, and I just.
But I get that. But what was your guys' relationship leading up to all of this?
I tried to talk with Jennifer as little as possible. There was a period when Maddie was.
Okay, so here we're going to learn a little bit more about who Jennifer is as a person. And I've got some thoughts on this. Kalisa said Jen and Tyler had been together for 3 years in the past, and they had more than one encounter, but I guess that's the story he's telling with Tatiana listening right now. Yeah, they dated in high school for 3 years, and then they had an encounter where Madeline was conceived while he was engaged to Tatiana.
He was first born, that Jennifer seemed pretty intent on breaking up my marriage with my wife. And so in the nature of making everybody happy, I just talked to Jennifer as little as possible, which is why I had so little contact with Maddie growing up. I only just recently started reaching out to Maddie through like Skype and stuff where she was able to, or not Skype, excuse me, what did we use? I think we used like Instagram or FaceTime, but we would use like video chats and
So Jennifer, during this time while she's pregnant with Maddie and after Maddie's born, she is intent on breaking Tyler and Tatiana up, which tells me that she's not this devastated, medicated slump of a couch potato. She is masterminding some evil shit from what it sounds like. And Bad Girl said, why couldn't he see Maddie outside of Jen or outside of having to contact Jen? Well, Jen's her mother, so you have to contact her to see Maddie. And it sounds like Yolanda and Juan paid a lot of money for Jen to get custody of Maddie and keep her basically from Tyler. It's a sucky situation. I'm glad that he did try to reach out and have contact with Madeline outside of Jen through Skype, Instagram, or whatever he used. But I don't think that, like Sin said, I doubt that they would let him have much contact with Madeline, which really kind of sucks. It sounds like Jen was kind of about the drama, not a medicated couch potato, but more about drama.
So I was starting to get a deeper relationship with Maddie, and then this occurred.
Okay. So you say you contacted her through social media. What do you list yourself on different social media accounts? What is your screen names?
My screen names?
Yeah.
Usually my screen names will all be a variation of my email. I can behind it. But I have on Facebook, it just says my normal name. I believe Instagram, I come up as I'm not 100% sure, but I'm bad at managing all of my social media accounts. I'm locked out of half of them right now.
Okay. All right. All right. So you said you and Jennifer, you haven't had that cordial relationship. So, but you started with.
I would say our relationship has been cordial, but it is a surface level cordialness maintained on our side to guarantee access with Maddie, because I was never able to afford to go to court to get my custodial rights established with her.
Okay. And you said you started reaching back out to Maddie.
So if he wasn't there when she was born, he couldn't sign the birth certificate. And that could be a reason why. I don't know. But for whatever reason, he said he was not able to financially recover enough to get custody back, or, his custodial rights reestablished when it came to Maddie. So he's basically at the will of Jen and her family and has to do what they say in order to have any contact whatsoever with Maddie, is what I'm hearing.
Last year on a more consistent basis?
Yes, sir. She was coming up on the age of 13, and so the last time I had stayed, when she had visited us in October, I was basically talking to her about how she would feel about coming to live with us.
Bad Girl says, you can't get a neutral person to be a go-between. Jen wasn't in the middle of their relationship. Right, but who's going to be the go-between? People from her family? I mean, she would pick who it was, and it sounds like the people from her family weren't really fond of Tyler either, and actually paid a lot of money to keep him out of Maddie's life. So who would be the go-between? Rachel said, I think sometimes people don't realize how crazy expensive it is to fight for visitation. It's not an excuse, but just the way it is. Yeah. That pic of Maddie and Tyler makes me so sad. She needed her dad so much. Yeah, she did. And then real quick, Sin said he had a record, a military tribunal history. No one would hire him, and making money hard. Yeah, absolutely.
In Texas, that was something she would be interested in, and she expressed that she would be interested, but she didn't say why or what. We just kind of left it at that, and it was something I was going to talk to Jennifer about, but just hadn't.
So she wanted to live with her dad, or he was going to see if she could come live with him, but they just hadn't had a chance to talk about it before what happened, unfortunately, happened, which I don't think Jim would have let her go live with him anyway. I think she would have been scared Maddie would tell what was going on. Oh, somebody said something. I'll have to find it again. Oh, Kalisa. Kalisa said he couldn't make it to Florida for 13 years, yet as soon as she disappeared, he could stay with friends in Florida. I mean, to be fair, that's a good point. Lisa said military has free lawyers for stuff like that. I don't know. I mean, yeah, to be fair, across the board, y'all are making good points.
Just hadn't yet.
Okay. How was Madeline when she come to see you in October?
She seemed to be in very good spirits, but a thing I kept saying was that I don't know if this will make sense to you, but I can give you the context if you need it. She reminded me of a character from a show called Euphoria, in the sense that there was just an emotional weight about her that I did not understand what was the cause. It just seemed like she was dealing with stuff that a 12-year-old girl shouldn't deal with, but I didn't get to see her.
So Tyler, the father, who doesn't get to see her very often, is seeing her for the first time in 2 years, says that she reminds him of a character from Euphoria as far as she's dealing with emotional things that a 12-year-old shouldn't be dealing with. And he couldn't pick up on what it was, but there was an emotional weight about her. And again, I mean, it's everybody around noticing what's going on with Maddie and that she seems upset and sad and withdrawn and emotional and has this weight on her. But you mean to tell me Jen couldn't pick up on it? I'm sorry, there's not enough medication in the world to make me believe that.
You're enough to really pry. And so I was just trying to ask her like surface level comfort questions to build a relationship with her, but I had no clue anything was going on at that time.
Got it. How long was she out there visiting you?
She was with us for 4 days in October.
Okay. Have you talked to her since October?
I had a couple of Instagram communications with her since then. I talked to her, I believe, once or twice on video chat. And I can't remember the exact dates, but I have, just so you know, I have left all of my social media untouched since the search turned into a verification that she was in fact dead, just in case any of my social medias can be useful to you guys.
Okay. At the end, I'm going to give you my email address. If you can just send me screenshots of your conversations with Maddie or any that you may have had with Jennifer.
Yes,
Darlene, I hope everything goes good with your new cat.
Let me write that down real quick. Screenshots of conversations with Maddie or Jennifer.
Yeah.
Is there anything in specific you're looking for?
No, just all your conversations. That'd be great.
Say that one more time.
Just all of the conversations you've had with Maddie.
Yeah, got it.
And then if you've had some with Jennifer, those as well.
Roger.
So how did you come about to hear what happened with Maddie?
It was, hold on, let me pull up my phone.
Look at that baby Maddie. Isn't her cute? And that's Tatiana, her stepmom. Isn't she cute? Isn't she just adorable? That baby. Batgirl said, how could Jen not know, but yet her dad that had no relationship with Maddie knew something was wrong, for F's sakes. Right. Right. Absolutely. I mean, everybody sees it, even the counselors and the teachers.
On so I can find the exact day. 1 second. Monday, February 26th, or possibly it was either the 25th or the 26th. I had just worked a shift in Texas, in Cypress, Texas, at my place of employment, which is Imperial Vapor Company. And the time on deck was around 4 or 5. The time on deck when I received the call was around 4 or 5 p.m.
Somebody said this earlier in reference to what Veronica said. Jen had it so easy. Jen always had it kind of easy, never having to work, mom and dad helping all the time, government disability, meds to the fullest. And somebody brought up the fact that how you can't have it both ways, right? Like, how is Jen a mastermind to the extent that she's getting loans from the government for COVID. Okay. She knows enough to make up a fake LLC to get the loans that she's not going to have to pay back. Okay. But yet she's so oblivious to all this and doesn't know what's going on. Like, you can't have it both ways, and you can't. She's not that stupid. She's not stupid by any means. She's not med out of her mind, right? Synth said he helped them unload the truck with the stolen stuff. He was very piston whipped at the fort he was stationed at. Oh, wow. So, yeah, that's talking about why he got charged. Synth said there was a lot of illegal activities he walked into and was dumb or naive to know how to remove himself from the situation. Yeah, I agree. Maddie had her own phone, yet Dad barely contacted her twice on Instagram. Like, come on, Jen had nothing to do with him barely contacting Maddie, poor thing. Yeah, I don't know. Anders, it was loans that they did in America. Like, if you had a company, you could get a loan during COVID because nobody could work. Since said she is street clever, not smart. Yeah, she's got street smart, or she knows how to fool the government. Like, if you know how to fool the government, I don't know. I mean, you're pretty freaking clever.
Jennifer called me and said that she had been informed by the school that Maddie never arrived at the school that day. And I asked Jennifer what she knew at that moment. She seemed distressed, but I told her, because she was trying to give me a bunch of stories about who had taken who where, and I said, I don't care about details right now. I need to know what you know. Where is Maddie? She did not know.
Why is Jen always trying to tell everybody that who took Maddie where? Why is she telling everybody that she talks to, Maddie was dropped off at the school. 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 That's not important. What's important is, do we know where she's at now? It doesn't matter who dropped her off at the school. If it was Tom, Dick, or Harry, what matters is where is she at now? We need to locate her. What else do you know? Why is she telling everybody that? Everybody she comes in contact with, the best friend, the teacher, the principal, everybody. She got to make sure they knew that Stephen dropped her off at the damn church.
And I said, how long has she been missing? And she said, since this morning. And then I said, okay, I need you to get in contact with the police department if you haven't already, and I would like you to continue to update me. And then she said, okay. And then she had mentioned that it was her birthday, and then when Jennifer and I were talking, I had started to mention the statistics of things like,
yeah, and like Sin said, we dropped her off. We dropped her off. We dropped her off. Everybody, it's we dropped her off. Me and Stephen dropped her off at the church. We dropped her off at the church. She was supposed to walk. We dropped her off at the church. Stephen never took that child to school. She didn't get dropped off at the church. Why are you telling everybody that? You got to reiterate that she was dropped off at the church. I mean, again, I got questions. It makes me think you're guilty. You knew.
sex trafficking in Florida. I know that Houston and Florida are high on sex trafficking, so I was throwing out scenarios of what we should be looking for. Did somebody grab Maddie? Was there videos out there? Could we see footage? And Jennifer was, I believe, writing some of this down. I don't know, but she was trying to, it appeared she was giving me whatever details she could. But then after that, I went home and waited with my wife. I let my wife know Maddie was missing. We started making some social media posts to spread the word. And then on about day 2 or day 3, I just couldn't wait anymore. In Texas, I felt really hopeless. And so I let Tati know that I was going to drive down to Orlando, Florida, which I did. I drove to Orlando, Florida, and I'm not sure which day I drove down. It was the 3rd day.
Imagine that, a parent being so concerned about their missing child that they drive from states away to go and search for her. Imagine that, right?
After I found out, though, and I stayed with my friend, Lynn Bradshaw, who is like a lifelong friend of mine. He lives about 20 minutes away from the area where Maddie was taken. I can pause now if you have any questions, or I can keep going.
No, you keep going.
Fresh in my mind, though.
Hey, Rob and Michelle, thank you for being here.
Yeah, keep going.
So at the time when I arrived at Lens, my initial first thought was, I'm going to fucking go out to the last known GPS location. Jennifer had sent me like a pin or a GPS location of where Maddie's disappearance would happen. And at that point, Lynn and I had basically discussed the pros and cons of going to look for myself. The pros being that it would make it feel like I was doing something. The cons being that I really had no idea what I was looking for. And then that's when we started seeing like Twitter posts from the Kissimmee and various police departments saying, please do not engage in any public searching. We are currently working on this. And so I feel like I just knew in my heart that shit was going bad. I was staying with Lynn to help me kind of keep my emotions in check and just watching social media, refreshing every so often to see if any news articles had come out. A bunch of my friends flew in from out of town, so I was visited by Josh Losey, who flew in from Indiana. He's been friends with me as long as Lynn. I was visited by my friend.
So he's got people flying in from other states to come and help him look as well. Kalisa said, yeah, if my boyfriend had never taken my child to school and the one time he did, my kid was missing, he would be the first person I would be blaming. Not only that, but then he's got a fucking donut on his car the next time you see him, or you know, before he comes back with a donut on his car, you find out your child's missing. He's never taken her to school and now she's missing. He does a factory reset on his phone. But instead of being concerned and like, why this is weird, I need to be talking to somebody, I would be going to the police and be like, look, this mother trucker right here, he's got a donut on his car. He's resetting his phone. He said he dropped my child off, but she's missing. Like, I don't know what needs to happen here, but y'all need to be looking at this dude right here because I've got questions. But no, not Jen Soto. She's calling lawyers, telling everybody, her ex-husband, the freaking his dad, all of them. Oh, we need to get him a lawyer. We need to get him a lawyer. No, ma'am. I'm not playing your bullshit today or any other day, Miss Jen Soto.
Stephanie, Elaine, Ashley, who flew in from Seattle, they both stayed with me for a couple of days at Len's place. And when they flew out, and then my wife, Tatiana, flew in.
Sin said he's doing laundry, bringing in tools, and doing all kinds of shit he never did before. Right. And we're going to talk about the roommates tomorrow and the tools on the table and the laundry he was doing and all of that. We all need Inspector BS. We need Inspector BS, Bunny.
I'm losing, at this point, I lose track of which days or when because it just all kind of blends together. But I took notes. So if you need specific dates of when I was interacting with people, I should be able to dig that up. It's not off the top of my head.
Okay.
So.
Did you have any,
I believe it was the night I arrived at Florida that Lynn and I got confirmation that Stephen and that he had been arrested and that there was sexual abuse tied into this.
Hey, Sweet Melissa. Sweet Melissa said, I wonder if what Jen's family thought. Did they pick up on anything? I would. Yeah, they did. Her mama didn't like Stephen from the get. The sister, when they called 911, said Maddie conveniently forgot her phone. They all suspected something. They weren't comforting her when we saw the police interview that we saw on video camera. And to be fair, I mean, I do believe Tatiana and Tyler are devastated. And at the time, not knowing, I would be concerned too about him going, knowing that he had cheated on me before, and all of that. I mean, I can understand her concern about situations and things. I don't think that they're to be held accountable in any of this. I think they did what a parent would do, but that's just my opinion.
This whole thing.
And how did you hear that?
I can't remember when I finally could. I had been trying to not listen to the news, so I'm not sure when I actually finally concluded that Maddie was dead. I can't remember if it was reading an article or if I'd gotten a call. Maybe you called me. I don't really remember who told me. I just remember kind of the day that it happened.
Okay, how did you hear the news about him being arrested? Did Jennifer tell you, or did you see it on the news?
I was informed of Stephen being arrested by Tati. Who told you?
And then the news told me.
Okay.
Press conference.
All right.
Look at that baby. Jim was supposedly, I'm sorry, the kids are running around. Jim was supposedly hospitalized shortly after this at some point, but I don't know. I haven't verified that for myself.
When you were here, did you and Jennifer see each other?
The only time I saw Jennifer was when I made an appearance for, I'm not sure if it was an official funeral, but I have pictures from the location and the name of the funeral house. It was a funeral house. They say that Maddie is going to be cremated in the next couple of weeks, but there was a closed casket that Jennifer's family was there, and I arrived with my separate party. I believe all interactions between me and Jennifer happened on a camera in the main thing at the funeral home. I did not speak with her anywhere else but in the funeral home. I hugged a few of her family members, and I hugged her at one point, but we shared very few words, and I was not a big fan of the hug. It was more for social purposes. But
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, our main focus right now is Maddie. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Not the relationship you and Jennifer have or have not had or whatever. So I don't know if some of these questions are difficult because Tatiana is listening or whatever, but I don't want to, like I said, our main focus right now is Maddie. So
yes, sir. The hardest thing has already happened, which is she's dead. And I am not okay with that, but for the purpose of cooperation and for the purpose of your investigation, I'm willing to go through emotional pain to get there. So just please continue asking what you need, and I will keep you apprised of my emotional condition.
No, I appreciate it. Okay.
Corey said, I don't believe Stefan never used Jen's phone or Jen never checked his phone. I don't either. And like I've said before, there's innuendos that they're going to do with each other that are going to make you pick up on something. And there's just too many signs. There's too many signs, and we're going to get into signs from the roommates tomorrow. I mean, it's just astonishing.
Did you and Jennifer talk about what may or may not have happened to Maddie?
Only on the initial phone call when I threw out a couple of scenarios trying to figure out where to even start looking for myself. After that phone call was pretty much minimized between me and Jennifer. I know at some point she had her phone taken and contacted me through an alternate phone number to provide me information of where like the funeral home was.
So Khalees said, I was on camera when I hugged Jen and I did not enjoy it. I did not catch if he said that. If he said that, that might be why the detectives are like, I don't know if you're saying things a certain way because Tatiana's there, but we need you to just be honest about things because they're picking up on he's nervous because of Tatiana or something. And I think that's why he said that. Synth says, the latest we know is Jen Soto's attorney says she was still in the sanitarium. I think that sanitarium, that word, it's Metallica again. I think that is another reason they haven't arrested her because they know where she is and she has gone plaid. Yeah. That could be. I mean, they could be just keeping eyes on her and knowing where she's at until after the CSAM trial or after they have her testify. I can understand wanting to keep her happy and whatever to get her to testify and then maybe arresting her. Tyler was an absent parent because he was being held accountable for his actions, setting a good example, says Miss Kimmy. I think so. Yeah, I love Metallica. She's gone ludicrous speed. Spaceballs, she's gone ludicrous speed. Plaid. Oh, okay. I haven't seen Spaceballs. I need to see that. They did all fail her. They absolutely did. Yeah, Rubber, I listen to old rock and like Alice in Chains is my favorite band ever.
So I was in text communication with her infrequently throughout my stay in Orlando for like stuff like that. I have attempted to comfort her before I realized that Maddie was dead, but that I don't think I was in Florida. That was over the phone when I was like, hey, this isn't your fault, that kind of stuff.
Like anyone would. I mean, you would try to comfort somebody if you thought they weren't involved, right? Eek, my goodness, thank you so much for gifting 20 memberships. Wow. You are being so supportive today. Thank you so much. Thank you. I can't say thank you enough. Thank you. My goodness, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll play our clip real quick. My goodness, Eek. Thank you so very much. That was super supportive of you. Thank you so much.
But it's one of those things where as more and more information comes out between you and me, I'm becoming aware. I don't know what Jennifer did or didn't know. I don't know if she was aware of this happening or not. And the context of if she knew and was enabling, or if she is as much of a victim as Maddie, will dictate how comfortable I am having any. Frankly, I'm not interested in contacting her family ever again anyways. But, like, it's one of those, if Jennifer, as much as a victim of this as I am, I'm content to just let them live their life in privacy. But I swear to fucking God, if I find out Jennifer was involved and enabled this, I will take whatever legal action I can.
Okay.
I just need a second. I'm sorry. I'm ramping up. I just need a second.
I understand that. I understand him feeling that way. And I wonder how he feels now. You know, I couldn't imagine being a family member of something happened like this. I mean, my child, you know, he's having the correct reaction that somebody should have that's not involved, in my opinion. And he's a victim in this too. And so is Tatiana. There's so many victims in this. There's so many. And just, you know, remember them and say a prayer for them, because the whole story is just devastating.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Do you think it was normal for Jennifer to call you when she went missing? Or did that seem kind of out of the blue because you guys haven't had much communication?
Jennifer almost never tells me anything. I think the only reason she told me is because she realized that I was going to find out eventually.
Okay.
But I can't confirm or deny that. That's just me speculating.
Okay. Has she told you in the past what?
Miss the G. Thank you for being here. Miss the G says thank you for the gifted membership. Thank you for saying thank you. Oh, if y'all were gifted a membership, please remember to tell Eek thank you.
Any issues that Maddie may have had or has not had, like parenting stuff? Or?
About 2 years ago when I was in prison is when I heard that Maddie had received a diagnosis for autism, which is something that I always thought that maybe I dealt with. Autism.
Miss King of Anything said, so he cheated and it produced a child and she still married him. So you did that knowing he will have to have involvement with Jen and the child. Yeah. So you can't really be jealous now. You're going to have to figure out a way to deal with that. But I mean, you know, like I said, I definitely understand why she was jealous. Corey said why he felt that way about Jen's family makes several comments about the family. Yeah, because I think the family kept him from Maddie a lot, unfortunately.
Traits that I have, and the short version of the story here is I believe my daughter did not have autism, and I believe I don't have autism. I believe we have autistic traits that are symptoms of PTSD.
I agree. Jenny B, yes. And I think it's autistic traits because of the PTSD. I think everything with Maddie is PTSD.
And realizing that it wasn't a genetic autistic trait that I passed on to Maddie, it was probably her having similar developmental conditions that I had as a child that I was recognizing in her. Mm. And that's real fucking hard to deal with, man. Okay. I wish I had seen the signs, but I just didn't. I was just trying to get a relationship with Maddie on the back end. I've been so patient waiting to have my turn with my little girl. And And then this shit happens, and I just don't know what to think. I'm just processing.
I feel so bad for him right now. Sweet Melissa, I'm so sorry you dealt with that.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
Right. Have you ever met Jennifer's boyfriend, Stefan?
I don't think so. I think I've only ever seen pictures of him on Instagram. I'm trying to remember that. I didn't remember when Stefan came into Jennifer's life, but I've done some research on Reddit, and according to a local post that I found, it looks like he may have entered her life around 2018, which I would have still been in Kansas at that time. I do remember talking to Jennifer about Stefan and being like, hey, I'm low-key uncomfortable with you just bringing a guy around my kid, but that was one of those things where it's like I didn't really feel like I had a choice. I didn't really feel like I had to say. Jennifer always seemed pretty comfortable with Stefan. I knew he was a biomechanical engineer from what Jennifer told me, which always weirded me out on what the fuck would
A biochemical engineer is what Jen told Tyler, her dad, that he was. A biochemical engineer, y'all. Oh my God, are you freaking kidding me? That man ain't engineering nothing but the stink coming out of his famunda area. That's all that man is bioengineering. He's bioengineering some body odor. Like, why did she lie and make him seem like this grand person? And going back to what he's saying, it does seem like he didn't have much of a choice in what was done with Maddie or who was around him or anything like that. And it makes me sad. I mean, I understand that he wanted to be part of her life, but unfortunately, it seems like every time he tried, he was blocked by her or her family, or him having to go take care of things he had done in his past. Hey, Miss Holmes, thank you for being here today. Miss Holmes said everyone in Maddie's life failed her in one way or another. There were red flags all around Maddie, and no one acted on her behalf. I agree with that statement. Miss King of Anything said we will all see his involvement from what our experience is, but I know what it is like to have a not father pick his life and wife over his child. Yeah, I'm sorry you had to deal with that. Life can really suck. I mean, I think that he tried, but was blocked a lot. I can't believe Jen told him Stefan was a biochemical or bioengineer. Like, again, the only thing that man is engineering is some body odor.
Biomechanical engineer with Jennifer. Like, I'm not saying she's a terrible person, but I just didn't see what traits of her would attract somebody like that. And so I do have a working theory with what I think happened. I'm aware that this is all speculation, but if you'd like to hear that, I will share with you what I suspect may have happened.
Okay. What do you think happened?
So the only thing that makes sense to me at this point is I've heard stories that possibly Stefan had stabbed somebody when he was 14 and that his dad had moved him across country. I've heard an article that maybe a former roommate had seen on Stefan's computer and that Stefan's mother had paid off the roommate. I don't know the veracity of those things, but those are what got me thinking on the mindset of, okay, so if his family moved him to avoid legal consequences for deviant behavior in the past, and he claims he worked at Disney, which I know Jennifer has always been around Disney, and so I'm thinking to myself, what would a predator do to find access to a child? Maybe they would go get a job at some place like Disney where there's high access passively to children and just observe. And then when he located a child that was of his taste, maybe he saw that Maddie was approaching Jennifer regularly, introduced himself. It has always been my opinion that Jennifer has not been as a...
I believe that too. I believe Stefan worked at Disney and he saw Jen and he scoped out kids at Disney, because unfortunately we hear about that happening a lot. I think he worked at Disney because he had some kind of sick thing and he saw Jen and Maddie coming from a mile away and he weaseled his way right on in there. Kalisa said Jen told the neighbor Stefan was her husband, a biochemical engineer who worked out of town. That's interesting. Jen is a compulsive liar, eek, in desperate need of attention. Yeah, that is a whopper of a take, a biochemical engineer. I know they met. I know Jen and Stefan met by working for his dad, but I think Stefan's working at Disney always had to do with him trying to scope out children. Yeah. I know Jen got a job there, but the Disney thing makes me nervous. And I think he saw Madeline coming from a mile away, and that Jen was walking into a wall or something a mile away, and that's what that was about. If I'm just putting my thoughts out there on that. Sarah said he's a biohazard. He is a biohazard. Yeah, I know that he worked that's where they met, but like I'm wondering, I don't know. I mean, I'm wondering if they met at Disney. I know he worked at Disney. I think it's weird he worked at Disney. I think he was scoping out little kids at Disney. I question it.
Tentative of mothers I would like. I feel like my daughter got passed around Jennifer's family for things like daycare quite often, and that whenever I wanted to get into contact with Maddie, it was difficult because I never knew when she was going to be home or available. And I think that maybe Stefan saw that as a predator and saw that that was a pretty easy environment to insert himself into their life. I then suspect he set up and at what point I become curious watching shows like Dexter or things like that is, okay, what fucked up their schedule then? How did he go from this patient calculating monster who did all of these things to being emotionally incompetent and disposing of a body off the side of a fucking road? I just don't understand what changed their behavior. And I say there because I started watching. It took me a couple of days to have the emotional space, but I started watching interviews of them when they were reaching out to the news outlets. Jennifer told me they were going to reach out to the news outlets when Maddie was missing, so I knew she had done that, but I just hadn't watched the interviews. And when I watched the interviews, Stefan is in a couple of them, and I was watching his body language, but then because I was doing that and some YouTube videos about body.
So yeah, she met him working at the company for his parents. But I mean, I find it weird that he worked at Disney. Yes, could it be because Disney was in the area? Absolutely. I just think that he scoped Maddie out. I think he scoped Maddie out and saw Jennifer pretty much walking into a wall and being oblivious to everything, including Maddie. And it makes me upset that he worked at Disney. I think that he preyed on he saw Maddie first. Like nobody's going to convince me otherwise. I don't like that he worked at Disney, but he did evidently work at Disney after he met Jen. Yes, I just and I misspoke and I apologize for that. I don't like that he worked at Disney. It makes me nervous, and I definitely think the whole him getting together with Jen was not ever for Jen.
Body language came out of. I was looking at Jennifer's body language, and it's like I saw very strong emotions in her, but they seemed like anxiety, like not grief, not she was waiting at home while her daughter was still missing. Like that, I literally can't wrap my brain around that. It doesn't make sense to me. And so what I suspect happened is something that they couldn't avoid, something like maybe or something, and they realized like, oh fuck, we can't get an abortion, we can't hide this. Maybe they did something. I don't know if Jennifer was involved or wasn't. Maybe Stefan did all this on his own and she just found out. That's where my head is at, and that's why I was like, you know what, I think I want to set up separate updates with the police department, because I just don't know. I just don't like the fact that everything I know about my daughter has been filtered through that family to me. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. That's my piece.
That's okay. Have you, when you and Jennifer were together, was she on any kind of medication or anything like that? Or do you know if she's been on any medication since?
She was never open with me when we were together. I do know that since we dated, she's been diagnosed with bipolar. I don't know what medication she's currently.
Hey, Super Roro. Thank you for being here. Super Roro says the Disney connection makes sense for a pedo like Stefan and possibly Jen too. Yeah. And then, yeah, there was a secretary at the school that was arrested for CSAM too. I tried to get that information, but they told me I had to have his birthday and I couldn't get it. I tried to pull that. But yeah, I saw that the secretary at Maddie's school was later arrested for CSAM stuff too. And I still need to talk about the pedos that were within 10 miles or 10 minutes of Stefan's house and where they lived at. It's insane, all these pedos around.
currently on, but I know that she's been on medications as hardcore as lithium in the past.
Okay. What about Maddie?
I don't remember the names of the medications, but I was informed when Maddie came to.
Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up so we get out into the algorithm. And thank you so much. Thank you all for being here and hanging out with me today.
Does it mean that she was on antidepressants, anti-anxiety medication? Do you know the names of them?
Yes, hydroxyzine was one of them. She would take at night. I didn't feel comfortable giving because I take hydroxyzine to go to sleep, and so I was only one while she was here.
So evidently Maddie's on a dose of hydroxyzine that is higher than what Tatiana is taking to go to sleep. And Tatiana's a grown-ass woman. And Maddie's dose is evidently 2 of from what I gathered from that, she's taken 2 pills as opposed to Tatiana taking 1. Why did they need her sleep medication to be so strong? Why do you need her to, why do you need Maddie to be asleep? Like, why does the dose have to be that high? Why do you need her asleep to the point of that? The dose being so high. Do you know what I mean?
With us visiting. The other one was Miralax, so she could go to the restroom regularly.
Okay. Now, when you were giving her the medication to help her sleep, did she have a prescription bottle with her?
Yes, there's a prescription bottle.
And on the prescription, did it say? So that's what the doctor prescribed her?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Tyler, did you have any discussions with Jennifer about medicine that Abby was taking or Maddie was taking?
Never.
Okay.
Did I remember? I don't think Jennifer ever really told me about their visits. It was just that when I was responsible for Maddie, she would rattle off a list of what I was responsible to make sure she got.
Okay. And when Maddie come to visit you, what were the sleeping arrangements like?
Maddie slept in the bed with Tati. I wanted to sleep with them and kind of make a little Maddie sandwich, and she was not very keen on that idea, so she made sure that I slept on the couch. Sometimes we cuddled, but that was the sleeping arrangements. Is usually she'd sleep in the bedroom with Tati, and I'd sleep on the couch.
Okay, I'm sorry. I understand that he is a victim in this. And again, let me reiterate, he is a victim in this, but that's just weird to me. Why are we trying to all sleep in the same bed here too and make a Maddie sandwich? And then it sounds like Maddie was uncomfortable with that. So he slept on the couch. And I can understand why Maddie would be uncomfortable with that and just sleep with Tati. But I'm sorry. I find that weird and concerning. I don't think in any way, shape, or form that Tyler would abuse Maddie at all. But it's just weird to me. Like, I would not think about making a Maddie sandwich with even a toddler. Like that statement is just weird to me. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. But that's just weird to me. A Maddie sandwich.
Okay, whose idea was it to have what you should refer to as like the Maddie sandwich? Who wasn't uncomfortable with it, Tatiana or Maddie?
I believe it was Maddie who was uncomfortable with it. She didn't straight up say, I don't want to cuddle, but she would cuddle with me when it was just me and her, and I believe she'd cuddle with you, and it was just you and her, but when we were together, she would become a little bit more shy, is the word I would use.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, when she would sleep at night,
that's really sad because I think that she's more shy because when they're both in the room, because she doesn't understand how to act in front of a male. Like when a male is present, it because of what Stefan was doing to her whole entire life, she doesn't know how she's supposed to act. She feels like any man in the room, she's got to act a certain way because of how she had to act with Stefan being in the room.
Me having children myself, you know, sometimes children, they kind of flop all over the place when they're sleeping. Did you notice anything like that with Maddie?
Yes, I will say I also sleep like that, and Tati had commented on how Maddie sleeps just like me. I very much thrash a lot, and Maddie was a kicker and a mover and a thrasher.
Okay, did it seem like she got good night's sleep, or she was up and down?
She, like, once I gave her the medicine, she was fine. Like, she would go to sleep.
Without the medication, she was more like me, though, where insomnia would set in, and in the evening, our emotions would. She literally told me one night, "I'm so sorry, my medication is wearing off. I'm having big mood swings. They're crazy."
And so, yeah, I'd wake up with, like, an elbow in my face. But to get her up in the morning was the issue, because she never wanted to get up on, like, the first shake or not even the second. So I just chalked it up to her being more like Tyler, because it takes him a while to get up in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
But
she's not wanting to wake up because she's being drugged. I mean, that medication, she should not have been on that medication, in my opinion. I'm not a doctor. I do not know this child. I was not there. I do not know. But I mean, if I had to assume, I would say it's because the fucking medication was too strong and she had trouble waking up in the morning. Oh goodness. I am so sorry. I am so sorry about that. You're dealing with that. I am so sorry.
No, you think it was the medication?
yeah.
Right, Miss Holmes.
All right. Do you know? You may not know this. Do you know if Jennifer?
We got 10 more minutes of this. He said it's the medication too. And Miss Holmes says, why does every damn one in Maddie's family sleep with her? She was 12 years old, for F's sake. Right. That's where I'm at with it. Anders said it seems like all adult people should sleep in the same bed as her. Jennifer's mom and Stefan's mom too. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, at that age, I would have said, sweetheart, I'm sorry. Like, I can lay in there until you fall asleep. But after that, I'm going to leave and let you sleep. And I mean, it sounds like from the medication she was on, she wasn't going to wake up anyway and know you weren't there. So, I mean, I bet that's just me, a normal thinking person.
Was taking that same type of medicine?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Does she talk about her relationship with Jen and her relationship with Stefan?
I asked her if her mother and Stephen were still together, and she says, no, they're not together.
Eek, you're fine, honey. You say whatever you want to say, love. Jen pushed the whole Maddie sleeping in the bed with the adults, says Susie Q. Yeah, I think Jen convinced Maddie that she needed it to happen, but I would have worked around it. I would have tried to. That's just my opinion.
She, I mean, loved her mom. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, every time I would, like, make, like, a little bit of a snarky comment, she would, like, correct me and say, like, everybody's beautiful in their own way. And we never really talked about Stephen when she was around, just to say that they weren't together.
How was her demeanor when she answered that?
It was, like, kind of like, well, they're not together, whatever. Like, just...
Would you call that, like, dismissive?
Dismissive, yeah.
Okay, so upset or like angry or just kind of like, how would you?
What kind of emotional reaction did she seem? Did she seem like she was uncomfortable? Did she seem, like, how did she seem to you?
She didn't. She just seemed like she was just casually talking to me. It wasn't like a angry emotion or anything like that.
That's kind of the problem. Is I would ask surface level questions on if she was happy, but she always answered pretty vaguely, and so I just truly never knew anything was wrong. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. Keep talking. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
So she was just kind of like just dismissive. Like we were just talking. Like, oh yeah, they're not together anymore. And I'm like, okay.
I know hindsight is 20/20, and you guys kind of only had a couple interactions with her yearly. But do you feel did you see any change in her personality over the last couple years? Do you know, anything that stands out?
I felt like the last time we met in October was the only time we ever really saw each other, is how I would describe it. When I'm being
I get that. I get that. Now that Maddie's older, it is the last time. Like, yeah, I understand that. You're actually seeing who she's becoming as a person. I understand that statement for sure. Susie says Stephen even said it was going on when he was married to Jen. She was the parent, so Maddie still sleeping with mom at 13 is 100% on Jen, and it absolutely is, because Stephen, when they were married, had stopped that shit. So, you know, I just, it's Jen. It's Jen. Why was Jen so adamant about Maddie sleeping in the bed with adults? I don't understand that.
being metaphorical when I say I saw her for the first time and she saw me for the first time, and we really felt like we connected. Other than that, it's always been like she hasn't felt like I'm sorry, this is just father talk, but it's like I've been watching Curiosity and Motivations until the last time I saw her. She seemed like more an adult than a child, and it's not that it bothered me, it's just that it made me curious on what caused the sudden change in growth. Like, she went from being a silly little girl to being what I would describe as a Euphoria character, which Euphoria is a show all about kids who are dealing with crazy levels of trauma.
You're referring to the show with
Yeah, I mean, and it's weird to hear him say that she was like a character from that show dealing with all the trauma, knowing that she was dealing with all that trauma. Moss Mommy said, I slept in my own bed on my own in my own room since I was born. Neither my father nor my mother even so much as held my hand. I think it's perverted that all Maddie's relatives slept with her. I'm sorry you had to deal with that. My kids slept in the bed with me until they were about 2 or 3, and then it was to their own bed. So I understand that, but like at that age, definitely not. Kalisa said there's something wrong with all those other adults going along with the sleeping in the bed with a kid. Yeah, I don't know. I got a problem with that. The whole Maddie sandwich thing. I mean, again, but they're victims in this, so remember that. I don't want to go too hard on them, but it is weird, but they are victims in this as well. Darlene says, so Tatiana admitted she made snarky comments in front of Maddie. Not cool. She could have done that out of Maddie's earshot. I agree with that statement. And being a step parent, I don't talk about their mother in front of them, and I could say so much. And I've always said nice things about her because that's their mother. But not everybody has the self-control like that. You know what I mean? So at the time, she didn't think that it would have been the last comment that she made. And I could understand her being jealous somewhat. I would advise against not doing it no matter what the situation is. But people are different. So I don't want to, again, I don't want to go too hard because they are victims in all this as well. But I agree with what y'all are saying for sure.
with
I think her name is Zendaya.
Zendaya, yes. Okay.
And I watched that show recently with my wife, and then when my daughter came to this, I couldn't stop thinking about that show. Just because I don't know how to explain it. These young girls have this 1,000-mile look on their face that I would expect out of like Vietnam veterans, not fucking little girls. Like, I'm not saying that there wasn't trauma there. I'm saying as a man who has experienced trauma, that's what confuses me. Is how so many young girls have that look in their eyes of like.
How often did you have contact with Maddie prior to October?
How often? It was infrequent, unfortunately. I struggle with ADHD, and so did Maddie. And what that.
Yeah, we all struggle with ADHD. So I don't know. Eek gifted 20 memberships. Oh my God, Eek. Thank you for being so supportive. My goodness. Thank you so much. You are being so sweet today. My goodness, honey. Thank you so much. I'm going to play our clip real quick. my gosh, Eek, thank you so much. My goodness, Eek. That's amazing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Liddy said this whole case is nauseating, and it is. It absolutely is.
That looks like for us is really bad time blindness and realizing you haven't talked to people for months and then reaching out awkwardly and trying to.
I mean, I would text her.
How often would you
struggle
text
with
her?
regular communication? And earlier in Maddie's life, Jennifer used to give me really big issues about that. And then I thought Jennifer was growing as a person because I couldn't tell you when, but just
Miss Jackson, thank you for being here. Miss Jackson said, thank you, Eek, for the memberships. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. And thank you, Eek. Thank you. My goodness, thank you. Thank you so much.
sometime halfway through Maddie's life, Jennifer just became a lot less
Present.
judgmental and mean about it. She was just like, hey, I get it. You have stuff going on. We have stuff going on. And so I felt like that was us getting close. Like, I felt like that was Jennifer understanding us more at the time, but now I'm curious.
All right, but going back to, you say it's infrequent on how many times you spoke with Maddie. So are we talking once a month?
Some weeks we would talk every day just because our schedules allowed us, and then I would.
Hey, Christy, thank you for being here. Darlene said, but when you are bad-mouthing another parent, it's kind of like you're bad-mouthing the child, too, because they are part of them. Yeah, and that's the way I look at it in my situation. That's why I don't talk bad about their mothers. But, you know, I agree with what you're saying. Thank you, guys.
Sometimes we would go, I think, a couple of months without really interacting in any way.
Okay.
And that was pretty typical of our relationship. Just very high intensity communication for a time and then kind of dormancy.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So I will do my best to keep you abreast of this investigation. Whatever information I share with Jennifer, I will share with you. This is a pretty high-profile case, as you can tell by it's made national news and stuff.
Abellis, thank you so much for gifting 10 memberships. My goodness, y'all. Good gracious at the memberships. Thank you so much. I'll play our clip again real quick. We're almost done with this live for today. I think we got a couple seconds. Thank you, Abellis and Eek and everybody. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. If you guys were gifted a membership from them, please remember to tell them thank you. Hey, Akira.
So the stuff that we release is going to be very minimal. And it's not to say anything against you and or Jennifer. It's just when we do these types of investigations, we keep a lot of stuff close-knit just because you have, if you want to quote-unquote armchair quarterbacks that look into these things, then we don't need that happening. So,
I agree. Akira said, arrest Jen Soto. Maddie didn't stand a chance. Jen needs to be arrested, in my opinion, and I agree. Miss Holmes said, if everyone who's received a gifted membership today, y'all can thank Eek and allegedly speculating by hitting the like button. Yes, you can thank the people who gifted and everything by hitting the like button. Please do so. Thank you.
That's exactly why I stopped coming up with my own scenarios and wanted to reach out to you, as I realized I was myself joining in on the armchair quarterbacking, and that is very much not what we want to do in this situation.
Yeah. So you may hear from me on a daily basis, or you may hear from, it may be a few days or a week or so before I contact you again, okay?
Completely understood, sir. Thank you.
All right. Do you have any questions for us that we might be able to answer for you?
give me a minute to think. Sorry, you may ask whatever you have.
Would it be possible if we could reach out to a victim service advocate?
Yes, I will take your number down, and I will have our victim advocate reach out to you.
Okay, because the press is kind of getting to the point where they're contacting us every day.
So my question to you is, I was until recently physically in Orlando. I was originally going to try to make myself physically available to you guys, but frankly, the emotional weight was tearing up my friends' lives too. This is really heavy shit, and I'm just trying to take care of my family and myself. So my question to you is, do we need to be ready to come down there at some time, or are we trying to kind of make our way back to Texas at this point? I don't know what I should be doing in this case.
Yeah, you can go back to Texas. If we need you, or if we need to become face-to-face with you to gather more information or something like that, we will make a trip out to see you.
Okay, outstanding. In the meantime, would it be acceptable behavior if I were to, say, travel to visit my parents in Kansas, or is that something you would advise against at this time?
No, absolutely.
My parents haven't been able to come down to Florida to grieve with us, so that was kind of my, not this week, but in a month I intend to visit my parents in Kansas. Should that be acceptable?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
As for the press, I know you said the press has been contacting you. Once again, you're adults. I can't tell you what or what not to do. Only thing I can do.
Anybody at this point in time, we'll talk with victims advocates and legal representation to figure out if that's in the case's best interest at any point. But I have no horse in this race. I'm content to just stay off of the pages and grieve in private.
Okay, so what I would do though is any press that reaches out to you or something like that, if you do not want to talk to them, you can always defer them to our police department, and our public information officer will handle all those
I
requests.
appreciate that. I will direct any further people to reach out through you guys.
Okay.
Is there a number, or in fact, if I was going to, what should I say when I'm directing them? Is there a number or an email I should give them?
Just tell them no comment. You can contact the Kissimmee Police Department. That's all you got to say.
No comment. Let's contact Kissimmee Police Department. Thank you so much.
You got it. And I will be in touch with you, like I said, in the next few days. I'll probably reach back out to you.
Outstanding. I appreciate that.
All right. Yes, sir. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you. You too.
So that's the end of that interview. It gave me perspective. The reason I wanted to talk about that one in particular, to hear him say that Maddie reminded him of a character from the show Euphoria. It's really sad to hear, and I could understand why with all the trauma she had going on. And then to hear that Jennifer, when she was pregnant with Maddie, was trying to tear them apart, which again, I could understand if you're pregnant with a man's child. I could understand wanting to be with him, but I personally wouldn't do it. But I've seen women do that, and I understand why it happens. I wanted to give some perspective from that. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about what the roommates said, because the roommates picked up on some interesting things going on in that house right after Maddie disappeared. Stefan acting crazy, Jen acting oblivious, and we're going to talk about all that. The tools, the power tools on the coffee table, all of the things. So we're going to start on those interviews tomorrow. Just to let you know, I do have lots of FOIA requests out. I'm hoping to get new information out. I have a video I also need to find on my phone to put out. It's from this case. I don't know what the video, I know what it's of, but I don't know the relevance. So I might put it out and see if you guys can tell me what it is or what relevance it holds. I'm hoping I can do that today or later tonight, probably late tonight. I want to thank you all so much for being here and being part of the Speculating family. Thank you guys so much for all the gifts. My goodness, the gifts today. That was amazing. Thank you guys. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate that. I hope you all have a good afternoon, and I will be back tomorrow. just to let you know, tomorrow I do have to do something in the morning, and I should get back in plenty of time to go live at our normal time. But if you come and I'm not live at the normal time, check the time, because if for some reason I can't, I'll push it back a little bit. Other than that, I love you all. I hope you have the best Saturday night ever. Enjoy time with your family, and hold everybody a little closer tonight, and say a prayer for the victims in this case. There are unfortunately a lot of them. I'll see y'all tomorrow, and we'll start in on the roommates and see what we think about that. Have the best Saturday ever, and I love you all. Thank you all for being part of the Speculating family. Bye.